Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 2 of AFL action. This 2004 Toyota AFL season. It's going to be a beauty from the MCG. The battle of the old co-tenants as Melbourne takes on the Tigers. Richmond out onto the ground nice and early for this big game here tonight, led out by Wayne Campbell, and the Tigers are white hot at the moment. Gary Lyon, welcome aboard. Friday Night Football, AFL on 9. It's going to be a beauty tonight. Yeah, good evening, Ed. Great to be here. It is going to be a beauty for lots of reasons. Richmond were fantastic last week in the season opener. Melbourne disappointing, but a big night for Melbourne on and off the field. The big unification march today with the former greats disaffected. It's been a bit fractured, let's be honest, the Melbourne Footy Club. Yep. But tonight, line in the sand stuff. Oh, it's good stuff. It's going to be absolutely... that you'd expect them to come out here really fired up. As you can see there, the last... talk to each other before they come out. David Neitz here, the skipper at the back. Neil Danaher in amongst it. All the former champions have been out there. We'll have a look at that in a few moments' time. Gary, as you said, but probably outside of Joe Goodnick, who has his own problems with the club at the moment. Tonight was a matter of unification. Some of the old factions did come together, and it looks like Paul Gardner's got everybody going in the one direction at the moment, at least. Yeah, not dwelling on who wasn't there, Eddie. 40-plus players from different eras out there. It was great to see, in actual fact, and the players will respond, but it counts for naught when the ball is bounced, let's be honest. It is what happens when the umpire blows the whistle, holds the footy aloft, and that's what they've got to get inside their heads, and you'd expect them to be pretty pumped up, but let's see what happens. Well, you're one of the greats of the Melbourne Football Club, Gary. These two, though, these 22, are the ones that count tonight. There's no doubt about it, as you said, wearing the black armbands for the late, great Percy Beams, who passed away during the week back. This is the one, unification. Not a bad crowd here tonight, not huge by any standards, but not a bad crowd. But if they start to get on a roll, the Demons, and win, well, then things will start to turn around from, there's no doubt. Yes, there are Melbourne supporters out there. They want to see some results. Neil Danaher has led the charge, and he should be congratulated for getting that former greats together tonight. And he is with Tony Jones as we speak.
Yeah, good on you. Thanks very much for that. Well, Neil, unification night, a great initiative, your initiative.
Well, it's just the start of a process, Tony. It's not an event, it's a journey. We've got to work really hard to get this club up from where we are at the moment, and this is just a start.
I mean, it was just littered with fantastic names. They were in the rooms beforehand. Must have given the young blokes an enormous buzz there.
Yeah, look, they all know Ron Barassi, but unfortunately it's been 40 years since their last flag. A lot of these young blokes, we're getting introduced to them. We've got to be able to start now to look forward, move forward, create our own history.
Good luck tonight, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Good on you, Neil. Good on you, Tony, down there. And, well, they're getting fired up, some of the old boys. And great to see some of the people who led the charge for the merger with Hawthorn coming back to get behind the grand old flag once again. As I said, line in the sand, put it behind the Melbourne Footy Club. It is a big night tonight. They've got 3 inclusions. Cameron Bruce and Peter Vardy will certainly strengthen the seed. And Philip Reid, the former West Coast Eagle player, making his debut. The question you've got to ask, where will the goals come from? David Neitz, capable, of course. He's a Coleman medalist, kicked 65 last year. Robertson, 41. Aaron Davey, exciting young talent, this week's Nationals Rising Star nominee. And Bruce and Green will play in the midfield. They've got to get 2 or 3 goals. So very important that they all contribute, these fellas. But one man, cometh the hour, cometh the man, Alistair Nicholson. He will get the job, I would imagine, on Matthew Richardson, and just how well he goes may determine whether or not the Melbourne Footy Club can prevail tonight. Jeff White is another player who is under the microscope too, Eddie. He's an enormous talent who perhaps hasn't fulfilled it in recent times. A bit like Matthew Richardson, who always attracts a lot of attention, but gee, did he deliver last week? Well, the Tigers, they delivered last week, no doubt about that. This big stage, the biggest stage in home and away football, Friday night at the MCG, and they delivered. Fixing up Collingwood by 40 points with Richardson kicking 5 and Nathan Brown kicking 2. We'll have a good look at them in a moment. They're the two highlighted on your screen. Yeah, it's amazing what one game can do for a footy club. Mark Chaffey comes into the side, really respected leader, but this is a match made in heaven. They look like they'd been together for 10 years, Nathan Brown and Matthew Richardson. The supply and delivery from Brown to Richardson was great, and Richo just handed Brownie a couple back. But I think this man's underestimated, Wayne Campbell. A genuine leader of this footy club. He rallies the troops, he makes great decisions, and I think they're a much, much better side when he's out on the field. Matthew Richardson averages 8 marks against the Melbourne Football Club. He's kicked 46 goals in 13 matches against the Demons. Last week he took over half of Richmond's 20 marks inside their forward 50. He is vital. He is, and he gets a bum rap with his goal kicking, Eddie. When you have a look at his statistics, he's got an average just over the AFL average, just under 60%. He's 61% of his goals come from marks. 42% of his marks are contested, more than any other player in the AFL in the past 5 years.
He hasn't played a full season since 1996. His aerobic capacity is second to none. He's rarely, or if ever, outmarked. What he needs to do is concentrate on just the next contest, not get caught up in past errors. He's got to develop a selfless side to his game, and there were signs that that was a bit coming about last week.
Well, he is the big barometer of Tigerland, no doubt about it. Just as big at the land of the Demon as their skipper, David Neitz.
Yes, indeed. He is equally important to the Melbourne Footy Club. He also is a super kick for goal, and actually it's a barometer of how he's playing. Over 65% is a terrific result. 76% of his goals from marks, 44% of his marks are contested. He hasn't missed a game since round 20 in 2000. That's a terrific show of resilience. He's got a great physical presence, a great penetrating kick. Is he too one-dimensional? Can he be a great captain from full forward? They are the questions that are being raised just at the moment.
All right, well, there he is. David Neitz, a big night. Last year, he was held goalless on just one occasion against Essendon.
Yes.
That's already happened this year, last week against the Hawks.
That is enough, Edward.
One is enough for Gary Lyon and the Demon faithful. We'll take a break. We've done all the analysis. We've had the unification. We've had it all. Now we're going to throw the ball up and get stuck into it. Round 2, football action. It's Melbourne versus Richmond. Friday night football. This is AFL on 9. Welcome back to Friday Night Football. Well, that's where we are, perched up high and in the forward pocket these days with the new stand being developed. Have a look at that big gouge out of what used to be the smokers' stand, where the Melbourne members have sat for over 100
Wayne,
years.
you're away, Captain. You'll call in the air.
Let's go down to the toss of the coin first here between David Neitz.
Good toss.
And
it is
Cambo.
heads. Okay,
Campbell wins the toss and will kick to the city end or right of screen. Gives me the opportunity to welcome Dennis Cometti for the first time tonight. G'day, Dennis.
G'day, Ed. Looking forward to this one, actually. Melbourne, a team in crisis, but there's nothing worse than losing to a team in crisis.
Dermot Brereton.
Yeah, good evening, gents. Looking forward. It's going to be interesting to see what tactics Melbourne come up with. In the Wizard Cup, they were just fantastic with their intensity. That dropped away last week. They're going to have to go it again.
We'll come back to Dermot, who had a bit of trouble in the surf today, almost drowned. We were almost without him, which would have given Gary a bit of space to talk tonight. But here we go. Let's get down to Tony Jones, boundary side.
Yeah, good on you, Eddie. Don't expect too much in the way of silky skills tonight. Very, very slippery underfoot. The dews rolled in early.
All right then, Tony, we're about ready for a start here. The umpire's already going over to some players at half-forward flank. They're having a bit of a push and shove to open up proceedings in round 2 of Friday Night Football. Here's Dennis Cometti.
And away we go, the opening bounce. Ottens has to wait. White over the top, thumps it down towards half-forward. Leading back in the race is Newman. Slips a hand pass away. Kellaway over the football to Coughlin. Coughlin goes towards the outer side. Cracker, favoured by the kick. So good last week. Takes the mark at left half-back. Cracker towards the wing. Roden on a searching lead. Hit him hard. Kicks towards half-forward. Zantuck. The umpires tonight, McBurney, James and Ryan. Hardly any breeze. Zantuck looks towards the middle. Ottens couldn't hang on. McDonald, quick hands away. Thompson towards the middle of the ground. Robertson flies in front and claims it.
That's a
strong
tough
hands.
Tough ask for Fiora.
Plays on to White, forward of the wing. Chips down towards the 50. Thompson, hard running, had it moments ago in midfield. Now on the 50.
And he looks like he might be running with Mark Coughlin. Now, this is the challenge for a young Melbourne midfield. They're up against one of the very good ones in Coughlin, Brown, and also Johnstone in the middle of the ground. Campbell to go in as well. So whether or not they can break even or better will have a big bearing on the result.
Scott Thompson steps to the 50 and tugs it way left. Opening score. Here's the doc.
Yeah, Dennis, just to mention Clint Bizzle coming back from bad rib injuries last weekend. He's got some padding on. So have a quick look. You might be able to see that under the jumper. David Neitz also protecting his back. We know he was limited last week.
Good on you, Pete. How bad is that back injury for David Neitz at the moment?
He's got bad inflammation in the discs, Ed, so it's really been underplayed a little bit. It is restricting him significantly. He's a bit better than last week, though.
Okay, as the kick-in goes over the head. Another chance here for the Demons. Miller got the handball going, but he hit Chaffee on the chest. And Chaffee's been able to just get his first kick for season 2004. Hooked it out of the way. Kellaway with courage. Ducked his head at the right moment as well. Got the handball working. Kane Johnson out to his skipper Campbell. Campbell with good vision. Sets it up. Away go the Tigers now. They've got a real chance going through the middle of the ground through Hardigan last week. His first game, his second game tonight with his first kick was a beauty to Richo. Richo was about to play on, but he's chock full of confidence. You'd go back and have a shot, wouldn't you?
Alistair Nicholson has picked him up. It was a bit static early last week, Richo. Once he realised that he's still got the running capacity to go with the bulk, he became a whole different proposition.
So, Richo. Early kick's important for Richo's psyche. There's no doubt about that. From inside the 50, he goes for home. He's got plenty of distance on the kick, but it's faded to the right-hand side. Through for one behind, scores a level with 17.5 minutes to go in the opening term.
Richardson coming off 5 goals last week. His best performance against Melbourne, 7, round 16 of 99. Clint Bizzle started well last week in a beleaguered defence. Taking some time. Rivers. Precise kick. A metre inside the line. Short one. Green. It's a left half back. Brad Green wants to go and does. Down towards half forward. In front Vardy. Knocked away by Chaffee. Loose ball wide of the pack. McDonald flicks it to accommodate Robertson. Runs to 52. Fires. Both sides wasting their chances. Melbourne by a point.
James McDonald, the other midfielder, running with Kane Johnson. 2 opportunities have gone begging for Melbourne. Goals hard to come by last week, so need to take opportunities.
On the kick out, Gasper. Demons really flooding the midfield at the moment, boys, aren't they?
They are closing up, not much room to move.
Campbell quickly trying to get the ball up the line. The kick was up towards Morrison, who couldn't quite hold it. Coughlin takes it to the boundary line. We'll have a throw in at half forward flank for the Melbourne side. As you can see, with the camera right on the boundary fence now, we're so much closer to the action as opposed to the old days with it at the back of the stands. Right over the top of the action. Otten's got the tap. Whelan put his head over the ball. We'll have another bounce. Bit of pushing and shoving going on. Campbell and McDonald putting in an early claim for best actor in the Logies coming up in a couple of weeks' time.
Matthew Whelan running with Nathan Brown at the moment, which is a big ask. He doesn't spend a lot of time in the midfield, so an interesting matchup.
Huge night at the Logies, of course. You'll see it all on 9, and AFL on 9. Friday Night Football nominated for the best sporting coverage as Whelan gets his kick away. Touched off the boot. Good hit on there by Thompson. Vardy, he's mercurial. He's opened it up. It's a chance here for the Demons. Still a chance for the Demons as the ball comes out. A real chance for the Demons. And Cameron Bruce takes that chance and nails the first goal of the game.
It's away, Greeny.
First touch in 2004 for Cameron Bruce. A goal. Well played by the Demons. Hard work in that pocket. They lead it by 7. Early going. Friday Night Football at the G. The surface looks terrific. There's the bounce. Otten's up high on the way down. Got it. McDonald, was he pushed in the back? Well, he was held according to the umpire. He's getting the free kick. He started well. James McDonald.
Good lead, strong.
Kicks inside the 50. Neitz. Uncontested. March 45 out.
Got a check, Dennis. Gasper got a check from back there, but Neitz did wrong foot him at the initial lead here.
He needed a hand here, Darren Gasper. I mean, someone has to peel off. Well, that is a long lead. The ball's in the air a long time. It needed Callaway to come in.
Goalless last week. Just the 4 kicks. 51 metres out. It's on its way. It's good. Melbourne get their second.
So the Demons 2 goals in a minute and a half, and they're out to a 13-point lead. Ottens gets the favourable bounce and makes the most of it. Good play by Green again to Uze, to McDonald, who set up the last goal. He comes out wider still. It sits awkwardly for Green, who goes in looking for the free kick. McDonald goes in looking for the ball and does it well. Umpire pays the advantage. Another big chance as White thumps it up towards the goal square. They've got it again. Holland, the 2-pronged forward line of Melbourne. Holland and Neitz not getting in each other's way. Neitz left the traffic open for him, and he took the mark on his chest and will line up from 20 metres out directly in front.
Well, listen, one man in the middle. James McDonald is setting this game up. He was run up with the best and fairest last year. Surprisingly started on the interchange bench last week. He's back where he belongs in the middle of the action. He's had 6 possessions already and been a catalyst for this start.
Holland kicked 1 goal last week for his new side. Ben Holland, the former Tiger, comes in and kicks. Truly, and the Demons have got 3 in 3 minutes.
Well, they couldn't want for a better start. They've got, we asked the question early in the pre-game where the goals are going to come from. Well, you'd be hoping that Cameron Bruce could get a couple. He's got one. Their 2 tall forwards are starting in the goal square in Holland and Neitz. They've got a goal each, and they look dangerous when they go forward. They've got their hands full.
What is dangerous too about the Holland and Hall matchup is that, look, you put them in the foot race, Hall will streak Benny Holland if they have to run over 60 metres, you know, head to head. But once you put a ball into it, reading the play, he just read that probably a second and a half earlier than his opponent Ray Hall.
What a start by James McDonald. Averaged 21 possessions a game last season. Ottens taps it down. Wide of the congestion. Cracker. Coughlin. Now Morrison on the wing. Down towards half forward. Over the top, Rivers knocks it towards the boundary. Going after it, Zantuck with courage. Keeps it alive. Coughlin goes again. And it spills out of bounds. Interesting, McDonald's 21 possessions translated, as Gary said, into runner-up in Melbourne's best and fairest. But no Brownlow votes. Melbourne with the football. Ottens in front. White appeared to interfere. No free kick. Down goes Campbell. He's going to get a free. Plays on from his knees to Johnson. Johnson from half forward kicks to the pocket. Rivers over the top. Too easy for the defence. Angles it out of bounds.
One of the interesting matchups, Bizzle's gone to Roden in Melbourne's back half, which he will allow Roden to push up the ground and peel off and be that third man up against the likes of Matthew Richardson.
There's key matchups in the middle. James McDonald up against Kane Johnson. Uze against Campbell.
Ottens does it well, gets the tap. A bad bounce for Cracker. He went in hard after it, though, and was held when he didn't have the ball.
Just here, Matty.
Plays on straight away. You heard the umpire. The kick just travelled the 15, and Brown gets his first touch of the night.
Just here.
So Nathan Brown on both sides tonight. One for the Tigers, one for the Demons. Let's have a look at this. Is this a free kick, boys?
Yeah, well, that's Whelan there. That's Nathan Brown's opponent, Nathan Brown, Richmond. That's Whelan. He's trapped underneath it. I see him there standing on the mark. You've just got to get rabid trying to find your opponent. You've just got to break through anything in your way to pick up your opponent. Well, if he's got the expertise of Nathan Brown, inside forward 50.
Kicked 2 goals 5 last week. Was a bit wasteful in the last quarter when it was all over. Kicked them when it counted, and he does it again this week. First kick, first goal for Brownie.
Nathan Brown, the first goal for the Tigers. Brown, who put a V8 in the bandwagon last week. Everybody's jumped on board, but they haven't got the start they wanted. Whistle, centre square infringement.
Well, that might have been against Kane Johnson, in actual fact.
Was it for hanging on?
Yep.
Thompson kicks inside the 50, hangs a long time in the air. Neitz almost in front. Ottens played it pretty well. Hartigan slaps it wide. Hall to Chaffee. Upended. Awkward bouncing footy. Cracker trapped it. Pushes it forward now. Coughlin close to the boundary line. Hartigan, did he keep it alive now? Across the boundary line. It'll be thrown in.
It's got a dangerous look about him, David Neitz. He's only a touch away. He really out-bodied Gasper on that occasion. This is the free kick here in the centre before the bounce.
Head touch. Yep, that's the rules. You can't grab their head.
Ottens knocks it down. Campbell. That was good. Wide of the pack. Kellaway. Brown through the middle. Kicks inside the 50. Where's Richardson? Not in time. Bizzle.
That's Roden's man, Bizzle, and he'll just peel off every single time.
Did it very well. This is Brown running.
The other Nathan Brown. Seemed like there was 2 last week as well, but there's definitely 2 this week. Up towards Robertson, touched off hands. Davey picked it up beautifully onto the left foot, decides to go for home. Davey's kick is just offline. It's hit the post. Whew, it's exciting.
The ball started at the other end when Bizzle chipped in for the mark. But look, he took a paste in last week, Alistair Nicholson. He just gave a couple of little body bumps on Matty Richardson coming out trying to get to the back of Bizzle. And that's what enabled him to get the mark so freely then. So well done to Alistair Nicholson then.
Bizzle now got Cracker, so they're persisting with Bizzle on the small forwards. Something Danny Frawley will have to watch.
Tivendale to Fiora, both beautiful kicks. Find Brown at the fence of 50. We're just inside. So Nathan Brown chips it, still inside defensive 50, but in the corridor now. 5th touch coming up for the skipper, Wayne Campbell.
Yeah, it looked like Roden was trying to take Bizzle away from the inside defensive 50 where he does his best work, setting up.
The old number 17 of Jack Dyer to Fiora, who takes the kick. He's over the head of his teammate. Chance now for Thompson. Good hard play. Bowden put a bit of pressure on as well. We'll have a throw in.
They've got it back, Gary. The intensity.
Yeah, they started really well, Doom. It's their challenge now is to sustain it throughout the course of the evening. Richmond just on the back foot a bit.
Melbourne by 14 points. Boundary throw in. Danaher in the gloom.
Arms up!
Not feeling gloomy, I'd suggest. White hooks it down behind. Cracker taken down. Otten's over the top. Cracker goes again. He started well. That ball doesn't come out.
It's in his legs. Settle down.
There it is.
They got some issues now. I don't dwell on this Clint Bizzle thing, but he's just sitting inside 50 on his own at the moment. Richmond can't afford to let the creative player who reads the play so well like that sit in the hole on his own.
Bounce on the outer side. Ottens won it down. Campbell, Coughlin lays it off to Brown. High ball inside the 50, reaching over the top. Miller spilt it. Zantuck goes Goldwood, chopped off by Nicholson. Now he's got a problem. Away to Miller. The Gary Lyon lookalike comes out towards the wing. McDonald backtracking, takes the mark. Play is on. Very busy early. Kicks inside the 50. A probing kick. Big packet. The drop almost missed by Vardy. In goes Davey. The hand pass from Hartigan. Now an opportunity. Lining up is McDonald. He wasn't lining up goal. He was looking for Holland. He spotted him. He's only about 20 metres out. Sharp angle.
Now we're following Kane Johnson around a bit tonight, Doom, on the with our cameras, just to find out how he gets so many possessions. Well, right now he's getting an absolute pasting by a low-profile player in James McDonald. 8 disposals, 2 clearances, 2 inside 50s. The message has got to go out: respect your opponent.
That was a junior footballer, Hartigan. Then I know it's only his second game. Cut him some slack, but that was a junior hand pass out of the traffic.
Ben Holland at his second. No, never on line. Interesting. Danny Frawley's first game as coach against Melbourne, round 1 of 2000. The Tigers won by 2 points. Ben Holland, that man, top scored with 3 goals.
1 goal, 1 out of Ben Holland, and a let-off for the Tigers.
It's the first man to kick a goal in AFL this century. First round of 2000, Benny Holland.
Thank you, Cole Hutchison.
Big night for the trivia bunch. Here tonight. Well, there you go, Dermot. For the second time in this game, it's been Tivendale, Fiora, Brown to the defensive 50.
Not bad.
Chaffee up the line, over the line and out of bounds. Free kick coming back to Whelan. So some good pressure in the midfield. They're getting back the Melbourne in numbers, Melbourne team. Not letting the Tigers do what they did against Collingwood last week, which was just grab the ball and run up the wing. Whelan's kick is a good one. McDonald. They will not go near him at the moment, Gary. Long kick inside. It's going to go over the head of the pack. It was a wobbly old kick, but it actually fooled the Richmond defence. Gasper underneath it, and David Neitz 25 metres directly in front for goal number 2.
Good miss, wasn't it, Gary? I mean, this kid, Wheatley, is a monster kick, and even his mongrel punt sailed about 15 metres further. Roden being taken from the ground now.
Well, they've got to get Bizzle accountable. McDonald coming off for a spell. He was been sensational here. Godfrey on. Not sure whether I'll be doing that with 9 touches under your belt.
Inside 50s, 11-4 in favour of Melbourne. So Neitz, have a look at this. Best seat in the house for this kick. No worries at all. That's taken a right turn about 20 metres through the goalpost. Neitz gets his second.
So a club under siege. Great start for Melbourne. 4-4 plays 1-1. White slaps it wide. Cracker off the line. Collided there with the man coming from the football. That was Whelan. Still bouncing around. Cracker dragged it back in. Will be penalised.
Dragged it back in. You dragged it back in, Andy. Must knock it out, okay? Now give it to him, please. Yep.
Iron Dewey's playing very well. Possibly their best player so far. And in the thick of the action, but clearly a free kick.
There's congestion ahead. He's got to go along to Neitz if he can.
Brown to Uze. Uze still inside the square with a kick taken by Vardy. Wheels around. Honours the lead to the pocket. Green.
That's a worrying matchup for Richmond. Tivendale is so damaging on a wing. He's not accountable. But Brad Green, this is coming up for his second kick. Tivendale hasn't touched it. Green has allowed him to go into the traffic, and he went kick chasing then for 1 second, and that's all it took.
I tell you what's worrying, Dermot. Have a look at Tivendale in this. You just see him here. He was just daydreaming and gazing and not really paying much attention.
Tough kick, this one, for a left footer. 15 metres in from the line. You would expect it to go left to right.
Oh,
He's got it. Centimetre perfect.
Melbourne 5-4-34, 117. The margin is 27 points. Green's kick was an absolute ripper. Stafford's on now, trying to get a bit physical in the middle. Brown hoiks it out. Tivendale, kick smothered, pickpocketed. Good play by Whelan, got it out. Over the top there was Thompson. They hold it up. Kane Johnson at the bottom of the pack. No, it's not Kane Johnson at the bottom of the pack. It's Coughlin will have a ball up.
This could be one of those moments where the quarter-time siren can't come quickly enough. Danny Frawley needs to sting a few ears, I think, and tell these Richmond boys to stop living on last Friday's performance.
Still in the centre of the ground. Thompson, a big thump. It was a lovely one too. It might open up here for Green again. He can break the tackle. Grabbed without it. No, said the umpire. Robertson grabs it, kicks it quickly up in the air. No 15. Play on again. Thompson gets it out. Here's Davey. He'll turn something on. Finds some space. Opens it up. The ball goes over the top to Godfrey. From hard in on the boundary line. He kicks up. It's going to spill fortuitously for Robertson. Trying to find some space. He kicks to the goal. Goal! Goal! Touched! On the line by Brown.
They're under siege, the Tigers.
Kane Johnson coming to the interchange bench, and I tell you, every time they go forward they look dangerous, and that is something that any club needs if they're going to be a chance to win.
Exciting stuff.
Fleming replaced Kane Johnson. He's by himself now.
Here's Campbell, across the ground. Man Dermot was speaking of. There goes the kick down towards the attacking 50. Working in front. Nicholson, Richardson juggles the mark. Surely.
Touch.
Play on's the call. Crackers snaps and kicks a goal. Hasn't he been lively?
You cannot teach somebody to rove like that. That is pure instinct. Well, he's got the great bloodlines for it, hasn't he? You get a look at this again. It is just pure instinct to hit it with this type of pace. You could have even given up to try and crumb this. So he's called the touch on it on the way through. But just to get through there... Yeah, well, you see Zantuck there trying to crumb it flat-footed, and that's not his go. But the instinct of Andrew Cracker there to be on the move as he goes past it.
And they made some changes. They got Stafford onto the ground. Ottens has gone deep into attack just to try and stretch Melbourne's defence, and I think probably to get Bizzle accountable.
Well, we say it is a game of centimetres, and Brown got a touch on it at one end to stop a goal, and within 30 seconds was the other end, and 4 points to the Richmond Football Club. So a big 11-point turnaround.
You practiced that?
No, but he did well. He did well in the onset to just go body on his opponent, then work Richo off the drop of the ball.
So Richo back to the square. We'll have a throw in at half-forward flank for the Tigers. We're about 40 metres out by the time the ball comes in. White does the rough work. Good play by Stafford. Got it down. High up and under. Tivendale's underneath it. Takes the mark.
First possession
at half-forward flank. Tivendale, usually a beautiful kick. Wide arc, thumping left foot kick up towards the full forward zone. Big flyers there off the hands of the pack. It's Brown for Melbourne, diving in hard again there. Kellaway, he's held it up though.
Holding the ball.
Could have just held him there. Cracker now taken to the ground. The ball came out, says the umpire will have a bounce. So just coming up to 5 minutes left in this opening term. It's been a beauty for Melbourne. We're deep in the Tigers' attacking zone. Stafford and Ottens tag teaming there. Cracker again busy. Brown gets the handball working. Coughlin couldn't pick it up. He kicks it out. Wheatley's grabbed high. He'll take the free kick.
Well, the Tigers have got 9 blokes who've been on the ground who have 1 possession or less to this point in the game.
Godfrey did well. Drew the tackle. Was pretty ordinary one from Zantuck. The kick up the line to Vardy. Hands and knees, keeps the ball in play beautifully, does it well, and then a thumping kick up towards the forward 50. Out they come. Neitz just couldn't quite make the contest. At the fall of the ball, it's Bowden for the Tigers. Has to kick with his right foot and did it well. Gets it out to Chappie. He's a playmaker, and he opens it up for this man, Cracker. Dodging, coming around onto his 6th touch. He kicks up to the forward pocket. The kick was a beauty. Nicholson did well just to get a paw on it there. It falls to Ottens. Ottens over the top. Campbell 65 metres out. Kicks to the hot spot in front of the goals, looking for Zantuck. He's pushed his man in the back. And Bizzle, Gary Lyons' man, who's filling the hole and playing as a sweeper across halfback, gets the free kick. 6 free kicks to Melbourne, 2 to the Tigers.
Vardy Again, clever balance. Saw it moments ago as well. Close to the boundary line. Feeds it back towards the middle. Godfrey kicks from the wing inside the 15. Neitz cleared he and Gaspar. Runs loose at the back. Holland nudged into the footy. Knocks it across to Robertson. Kicks towards the square. They come from all directions. Green gave a contest. Holland steps over a man on the ground. That was Fleming. Hand passes back towards the middle. There's a whistle. And it's going to be a free kick to Richmond.
Be more careful than that, David.
Dangerous.
Be more careful than that. Just sliding in. Just sliding in.
Good advice from the umpire. That was dangerous. Head over the footy.
Tell you what, did Darren Jolly cannon into Brad Ottens at the other end of the ground? Still sore, Ottens.
Kevindale got it from Johnson. Short one to Stafford. Margin 22 points late in the opening term. Friday night football. The veteran looking on. Not the start I'm sure he expected, or his teammates. And Stafford taking plenty of time. Yes, sir. Left half back. Drives it long beyond the wing. In front, the lead came from Godfrey. Offhands Johnson. Slapped forward by Brown of Melbourne. In the opposite direction, Fleming. Two tough hombres in there. Godfrey came to Fleming. Spills from the pack. This is Bruce who got the opening goal. Bizzle again. So clever, so constructive. Kicks inside the 50. Ball flew over the top. Bit lucky there. Chaffee at the back. Really under pressure. Heads for the boundary line. It's going to be a free kick to Chaffee. Chaffee getting the free against Vardy.
Desperately unlucky there, Ben Holland, with Ray Hall climbing all over him. Put the hand on the shoulder first for leverage.
Was very lucky. Chaffee again. Beautiful kick. Opens it right up. Now Bowden, another long left foot kick. Thumps it out to the forward 50. Out they come. Richo gets a bad bounce. Nicholson did well. Took him to the ground. And the Demons do pretty well in that situation. It was a very quick transferal play over the line and out of bounds as we await the throw-in, Dr. Peter Larkins.
Yeah, Ed, just Kane Johnson. We've mentioned him a couple of times tonight. If you see his left thigh heavily strapped, he's got a corky halfway through this quarter and he's already limited in his running.
That was the difference. They couldn't run and deliver deep inside 50. Their midfield not getting that run and carry through the middle of the ground.
Jolly got the tap, but to no one in particular. It was picked up by Kane Johnson for the Tigers. Inside 50. Brown almost took the mark, then turns onto the left boot. Have a look at this for a kick. Brown has kicked an absolute beauty. His second, and the Tigers are back in action.
Just stayed at the back of the pack, didn't he? And well, probably thought when the ball left the boot, I'm going to have to go for this in the air. Stays down, the big pack moves forward. Watch this one come in. Pack moves forward at it. He's last in line. He's the only one who keeps both feet on the ground.
Matthew Whelan, you've got to say, you are playing on arguably the most dangerous player on the ground. Don't go leaving your man and jumping up into a six-man marking contest and leave him on his own. He has to learn from that lesson.
The only thing was, it was a positive error. He at least tried to attack the ball, but a bit of temperance.
More than a bit. He's not involved in the big marking contest. He's on Nathan Brown.
After a slow start, Nathan Brown, 7 possessions, 2 goals. Richmond edging back 5-5-3-1. Almost quarter time. Stafford over the top, knocks it down into the path of Fleming, who kicks towards half forward. Bounces towards the 50. Rivers was held and then crashed into. He's going to get the free kick. The first of a couple.
Back to him now, Timmy.
Oh, that's 50. That's stupid, and it's 50. You give it directly back to the opposition player, and just for all walks of football, any grade in Australia, you give it straight back to the opposition. You hand it back to your teammate first at 50.
Back to Jared, he threw it straight to you.
With the umpire, Jared, this man, Jared Rivers.
Been one of the consistent rules for, well, since they brought in 50, or the 15-metre infringement years ago.
Comes from North Adelaide, kicks towards the pocket. In on the angle, Fiora knocked it down. Johnston hard against the boundary line, pulls it back. Holland almost had it, lost it. Sockers off the ground, comes across on the angle, forced towards the line there by Fleming. Concedes a behind. Gaspar in the action as well.
Big minute and a half here for the Demons. They have to defend this lead.
They've worked their way back. The Tigers, no doubt about it. They're a class act. They're starting to get a bit of footy in the middle of the ground, and Nathan Brown's just put his stamp on it a couple of times now.
Plenty of time, a minute and a half left in this quarter for the Tigers as Tivendale comes out to Gaspar in the back pocket. Gaspar chips up the line to Bowden. Bowden, thumping kick up towards the wing position. That was a good-looking kick, but read beautifully there by Godfrey.
Still on, Green, if he wants to.
Godfrey comes into the middle of the ground. He finds Uze. Uze's kick is a beauty to Vardy. Now there's time for the Demons to steal one. Davey's a beautiful lead, ignored by Vardy.
Now, Neitz could be one out here if Holland pulls away.
Top of the square.
That's where it's going to go. Play on. It's up towards Neitz. He's got the sit. Campbell from behind. Good play by Gasper at the front.
Great effort.
Had to stand his ground and did. And we'll have a throw in.
Probably need to go just a touch quicker, Doom, and as you called it, he was one out. That 5 seconds allowed Wayne Campbell to push back.
So Neitz will try and do the ruck work here, or at least do some body work in the pack. He turns around, gets front and square, flicks it under his legs to Johnson, who kicks the goal. That's what the Demons needed. Great play by the skipper.
Dying seconds, opening term, Friday night football.
Tunnel ball.
Yeah, little flick, it was beautiful.
Legal.
Bowden out here on the wing on his own, Dermot. Right there he is. Arms out. That is not a good sign for Melbourne.
And Nathan Brown is at the back of the square at the other end.
Rucks go at it. Stafford win it. Yes, he did. Campbell comes away. Kicks inside the 50. Richardson using his body down there. Otten's cast in the role of a rover. Morrison slaps it across to Brown. 8th possession from the 50. Johnson, awkward half volley. Morrison a chance. Rivers came through strongly. Now an opportunity for the man who got the last goal, Johnston, to Vardy. 15 seconds to go. The clock is running down. Vardy inside the 50 for the Demons. Clears 2 jousters just inside the 50. A whistle and a Melbourne free kick. Robertson.
Last kick of the quarter it'll be, Dennis.
What's Robertson's kick?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? You need a runner out there now to say this will be probably the last kick.
Really, if the runner got out there, you could pull a cramp or whatever and get Wheatley to take it. He'd clear it.
Robbo will fancy himself.
Always thinking, Tim.
That's your line.
Best and fairest last season.
Right next to him.
He's booted 8 goals in his last 2 matches against the Tigers. This will be important. The siren sounds as he starts in. 53 metres out. Sends it goalward. Got the distance, not the direction. Behind his second. But a good turn by the Demons. I think half an hour ago they would have taken that. And their fans like it too. He's been busy on the forward line. Quarter time, 13 scoring shots. 6-7-43 to the Tigers, 3-1-19. So the Tigers, well, a long way from where they were this time last week.
Plenty of passion from Neil Danaher, the coach of the Demons. He orchestrated tonight the unification night, and he's orchestrated a fantastic lead at quarter time of 24 points. Demons by 4 goals, just what they needed. The skipper kicking 2. Holland could have had a couple as well. Green, Johnson and Bruce the others. And for the Tigers, Nathan Brown's kicked his 2. And Andrew Cracker's been very good. Derm, tell us how Melbourne have been going forward in this game, because they've had plenty of inside 50s.
Yeah, 18 to 10 there. You can see the going forward stats. 11 shots at goal to 4 disposals per goal. 12 to 22 inside 50s per goal. They're pretty similar there. But let's have a look at the way they're doing. What's actually happening is in the middle of the ground, James McDonald has had 9 possessions. He's had 2 centre-bounce clearances. He feigns to the left a lot of the time. This wing we're looking at, this half-forward line, the half-forward area, the green ribbons are the goals, the blue the misses. Green's running down that wing. And also Ben Holland's starting position is 2 metres in the front and to the left of Neitz. So Neitz, from the goal square, leads out to the right. He draws the ball out there, and let's have a look where they're kicking their goals from.
He likes to kick right foot in. The forward line of Melbourne function well. Vardy, 6 possessions.
Let's go down to Tony Jones, boundary side. Tony.
Fantastic stuff from Neil Danaher at that break. He sprinted from the coach's box, screaming at his players, well done, well done, well done. Let's go again this quarter, and reiterating the message, which is loud and clear, and that is, let's go hard at the ball.
Melbourne by 24 points as we start the second term. Friday night football. Can they push on from here? White goes up, fights a draw with Ottens. Down goes Johnson. Tivendale had it, couldn't control it. Cracker once more. Out of the middle, high ball inside the 50. Camped in front, Rivers. Almost a clever mark. Wonderful balance by the young man. Got it to Brown, to White. White at right half back goes looking for Davey. Over his head. It runs on down towards right half forward. Miller keeps it alive into the path of Davey. Exhilarating speed. Runs to the 50. Lines up. And the mark is taken down there by Hall.
Skip was on the lead there, Gary.
Yeah, he was. The young fellow had a steam up, didn't he? And probably only saw the goals. Would have been a lovely little chip in the Neitz.
Hall's kick untidy. Campbell's got it. 9th possession. Bowden did okay. Hall again, short. And Kellaway takes the tumbling mark just outside the defensive 50. Wants to go. Told to play on. Indecisive. Eventually chips to the centre circle. Fiora plays on immediately. Kicks inside the 50. And a good mark is taken by Gaspar. On the forward line, if you don't mind.
Well, he's decided to work David Neitz a bit. He does push forward at the right time often, Darren Gaspar.
I think the unfriendly post was at the other end.
It was.
Doesn't kick many. Posters or goals. Darren Gaspar, 17 career goals. A study in concentration. Inside the 50 by a step. Sets it on its way. It looks good. How about that for a start to the second term for the Tigers?
We keep saying it, it's a matter of centimetres, isn't it? Instead of lining up for goal from a pass from Davey, Neitz is down the other end standing on the mark as his direct opponent kicks one over his head for a goal. Oh, missed by that much again. Robertson, the big dive. Neitz has cleaned up his opponent Kellaway.
Over the footy. Head over the footy.
And twice now David Neitz has been warned about head-high bumps.
Not sure that one was as reckless as the one in the first quarter.
Umpire lets the shenanigans pass and says, get a kick now, Kellaway. McDonald and Campbell. Like an old clan war in Scotland, isn't it? Free kick going the way of the Tigers, and the fans say about time as well. Brown gets it. It's been great so far tonight, Nathan Brown yet again. Free kicks are 8-6 Melbourne's way. Brown goes to the half-forward flank. Morrison brought it down nicely to Coghlan. Under pressure. Coghlan gets the handball away. Once again, Tivendale on his right side gets that little left foot kick going to Ottens. Now a chance for Melbourne through Brown. Brown finds a bit of space, then kicks it up towards the centre wing position. Robertson was the big jump from behind. Fiora picked it up nicely. Brown. Green in there for Melbourne. Whelan grabbed without the ball, will take the free kick. Bit obvious that one. So Whelan has it. He's got players on in the middle of the ground. He ignores them and goes long. And it was just as well because Holland had found some position. And he will kick from inside 50.
There's a lot going on between Campbell and James McDonald right now. That is a very angry scene there. That's been going on for a while too, I'll tell you.
Johnson in amongst it as well.
Campbell's still going.
And they're back into the game. In the meantime, the umpire's blown time off. So Campbell's got some blood.
He has got some blood.
Yeah, he has copped one there just above the eye. A split nose. The doc will have the full details in a moment. In the meantime, Holland comes in. He's kicked 1 goal, 1. Up to the forward. Is there still a chance? The ball stays in play. Robertson, Gaspar, Neitz trying to find some space. Hits the post. One behind.
Tell you what.
Now, blood rule's been called here for Campbell to go off the ground.
Yeah, well, these two have been at it for the best part of 3 or 4 minutes, and it developed into a big wrestling scrimmage on the outer wing. You can see where the blood came from. Let's have a look at this here.
That's the start of it. Oh, hello.
Well, I presume it is.
Yes, that would look to be very unprompted if that was the start of it.
That's like a drive-by, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, why would you do that? Must be more to it.
A little bit more than the Mrs. Doubtfire drive-by fruity dinners.
That's right, yes.
We'll roll the videotape back a bit further and see if there was anything before that, but There's the result. Campbell off the ground, and courtesy of the blood rule, we're able to see a full replay of the blue. Good innovation, that one, Doom.
Yeah, like it. I was about to say no one gets hurt out of those ones. Just come away with a fair bit of claret out.
Tivendale spears a pass into Zantuck. Zantuck chips outside the 50. Chaffee, 44 plays 25. Pivotal time in this game, you sense. Tigers playing with more poise. That fixed him. Zantuck straight to Whelan. Whelan goes back towards full forward, running back with the flat of it. Zantuck off hands, knocked goalward by Hall across the line. So much for the poise. There's Campbell receiving attention. It's a good cut man in there. It's a nasty one. Margin 20.
13-man zone employed by Melbourne against the Richmond kick-in.
Chaffee. Close to the boundary line. Precision to Kellaway. Kellaway from right half back. Half distance pass. Fleming.
It's been all right since he's come on, Tim Fleming.
Yep. Back to Chaffee. Kicked it in. Chaffee about 25 metres out of the defensive 50. To the wing, close to the boundary line. Morrison pushing up the ground as he did last week.
That really bottles them here now. He's just going to have to bomb long.
And he does that down towards the 50. Can Ottens get to the contest? Not quite. Coming back with the flight of it. Coughlin showed a lot of courage. Stumbles towards the line. I think it was a cross before the boot hit the ball. Now.
Go back in time. A little bit earlier, Dennis.
Yes.
I had my eye on this, and it was nothing more than the push and shove between these two. I certainly couldn't see anything that it would have originated in the blood nose.
Just not allowing Campbell to run, and he's just been frustrated by it.
Ottens gets a tap. Cracker with some magic. Kicks to the pocket too far. Over the line, out of bounds on the full, but gee, he found some space.
Another match-up in the middle that is really working is Scotty Thompson's running around with Coughlin, and well, Coughlin's only had 4 possessions. So you'd have to say Neil Danaher's matchups, or his perceived matchups at the start of the game, have really worked.
We go to Dr. Peter Larkins in a moment to see how long Campbell will be off the ground with that cut. White did well. Good play by Whelan. Gets it out to Uze. Uze's kick up the wing, bounces nicely. Big opportunity now for Bruce on the left boot. He kicks it up inside 50. Was there a push? Umpire calls play on. Neitz has had the flying shot. No, he's taking it back. Just as well, because Neitz nearly missed the lot. So while the ball's coming back to Johnson, let's go down to Dr. Peter Larkins.
Yeah, Wayne Campbell's bleeding from inside the nose, as well as a big cut on the bridge of the nose, almost where the eyes meet, Ed. So it looks like he may have had a broken nose in the sense that the blood's coming through the nostrils. Only a little split in the nose. They're keeping him out on the bench, so they're going to try and just plug it up with some Vaseline and some of the old hemorrhoid cream, Ed.
All right, then. Well, Brad Green's lining up. Don't forget Wayne Campbell will be with Gary Lyon on the Sunday Footy Show, second hour.
Wouldn't be a good look.
Set the girls and make up a task. As Green comes in, big kick for the Demons, this one. Here's a lovely kick of the football, and that is no exception. Puts it through the middle, and the Demons are back out to a 26-point lead. His second.
So the margin is 26 points. Timely goal for Melbourne. Just had the feeling Richmond were coming to terms with this game. They've got to do it again now. Over the top, Green knocked it down. Bruce in the opposite direction. Ottens. Now Brown towards centre half forward. Morrison backs back. Over the top, Rivers. Bizzle kept his composure. McDonald to Brown. The other Nathan Brown peels off half back for Melbourne. Searching hand pass into the middle. Well played by Bruce to Whelan. Runs wide. Kicks to half forward. Clever kick too. Robertson up in front. Arriving quickly, Davey to Robertson. Jabs it inside the 50. Going back with courage. It was knocked down by Bowden. Hand pass comes across to Fleming. Fleming towards the middle. Chance there for Brown. Lost it. Johnston in the opposite direction. Back towards the 50. Pack at the drop. Fisted away by Ottens. Fleming camped in front. Johnson on both knees. Slid in. Got it to Fleming. He's under pressure. How did he get rid of that? Ottens on his knees. Tries to dig it out. Surely it's holding the ball. Yes. A late whistle. But Melbourne a bit stiff. Not getting the first kick.
Come through.
Travis Johnson coming off the ground, as you can see in the bottom of the screen, and we're looking back in time to just see exactly what happened with Campbell again, Dennis, and there might just be a We'll see it in a few moments' time for you, but it might
You
just
know
be
something.
Yeah, we think we
something.
might have found something. Well, wait. In the meantime, the Demons have found something. Another chance to kick a goal.
Big kick again, isn't it? Like
Huge.
Richmond, as Dennis said, had enjoyed a good 5 minutes or so, but 2 goals to just the 3 points. That'd be a big counter punch.
You've got to put it in perspective. It's 16 scoring shots to 5.
Yep.
Belting, yeah.
Much as we saw last week. Cameron Bruce to the 50. Oh. Long kick.
Good shank.
Clears the line. His second.
So Wayne Campbell's back on. Let's have a look what happened. Is there a bit of a gouge here? Just keep an eye out. Down on the ground. See there. Ah. There's a lot of hand going on, a lot of face there.
Stopping him speaking.
Yeah. Talking through his nose, obviously, Dermot. Demons again, they're talking through the scoreboard at the moment. They lead by 32 points. 13 minutes left. The Tigers look sluggish. Coghlan now trying to make something happen for them. But again, it's the Demons with that extra spring in their step through Wheatley, who got the punch. Bizzle again, Gary's man, playing as the loose sweeper. Thumps it up the line. It was a good kick too because he saw a man up forward. Here's a chance for Davey. Just slipped it. Should have got the free kick. Was he grabbed without it? I thought so. Umpire didn't. We'll have a throw in.
Eddie, if you got Matthew Richardson as your trump card and your marking target, you have to do everything to try and give him an opportunity to mark one out. And right now, Clint Bizzle's just dropping back into that hole and making life so difficult for him. Danny Frawley's got to just try and isolate the big man.
Ottens gets the tap, just drops it at his feet. Crashing through was Tivendale. Kirk to Ottens, did it well. Out to Johnson. Johnson, the match winner from last week. His kick was just over the top of Brown. Again, a matter of centimetres. Whelan picked it up, got it going. Good handball out there by Miller. Opened it up for Brown. Brown had to go back a little bit for it, though. Around the body, just kicks it up to the hot spot. It's in a half forward. Getting back was White. Was he grabbed? No. Yes, said the umpire. Jeff White will take the free kick, 55 out. He is a thumping kick. This is a time for this man to set a mark on this game. From 55, he comes in. It's a thumping kick. It's a huge kick. It needs a shepherd. Didn't get one. Just touched on the line by Neitz. In fact, I reckon it could have bounced off his foot here. Or has he paid the mark? He's paid the mark to David Neitz.
Marked it before it crossed the line.
Marked it before it crossed the line. You heard
He
it
go
there.
to the centre. No, Neitzy there.
Umpire McBurney. Tiger fans are furious. I'd love to see it again because I reckon it might have bounced off his foot through.
Well, I reckon it was a double grab. That's what the Richmond blokes will be pleading the case of.
There's something more significant than that, though, and that was the courage shown by Jeff White.
All right, let's have a look at this one. Neitz comes in. He's kicked goal number 3. Suddenly it's 38 points in favour of the Demons.
David Neitz, that was interesting. Didn't have it for all that long. Watch it again, coming back with a flight of it.
What's the back of his heel, though? Bang, just off it.
But he paid the mark, didn't he?
Goal either way.
That's right.
Great signs from White, though. The courage of White in that was really significant.
Disposals even, if you can believe that. 102 apiece. Brilliantly done by Ottens to Tivendale. Goes with the right boot down towards the pocket. Nicholson missed it. Whelan, he's been lively in this term. Hard against the boundary line. Brown goes back over the top on the angle. And coming hard was Tivendale.
Gary, amongst all that, we should pay tribute to Jeff White. Great courage to take the mark at 10.5 forward in the first place.
Yeah, look, I think that's what Melbourne supporters and coaching staff want to see. Richo, just the one touch. I'll tell you why, because he's 2-on-1 every single time he goes at it. But White's courage was really good.
Ottens directs it down. Coghlan taken down. Ottens goes again. Roden emerges with it, but beaten by the whistle. Umpire Matthew James. Quick on the trigger. One of the best. His bouncing is a virtue.
Did Cam Bruce pull away from this, looking to run down the middle?
White edged under the football. Campbell to Roden, in trouble. Hand passes wide. Johnson untidy. Chopped off by Brown on the defensive 50. High ball towards the wing. Green launched himself, getting into the back. Newman really wasn't in the contest. He just clattered in there and gave away the kick to Green.
He was frustrated, aren't they?
They had him on numbers anyway.
Yeah, why do it? Short one finds Brown. 63-25. Just under 11 minutes till half-time. Melbourne resurrected after a disappointing performance last week against the Hawks to Rivers. Peels off half-back. Probing kick towards half forward. Inside the 50 it goes. Neitz from behind. Barney hit the pack hard. Snaps. It's a wayward kick. It's out of bounds on the full.
Didn't get onto it. Normally beautiful on the turn too, Peter Vardy.
He's
Didn't
a natural,
quite get there.
Sorry, Eddie. He's a natural forward, isn't he? You can tell by the way he crumbed that, where he positioned himself, and he makes the forward line look much more dangerous.
Going to come back in a few moments, Simon, have another look at that Campbell incident as the ball comes out. Now a chance for Hyde to run down. Good kick to Morrison.
The Demons have got an extra man in defence here. Rivers just hanging in front of the Richardson lead.
Morrison, only the third touch coming up.
8 metres.
Hasn't had much of an impact. Campbell misses altogether. Uze, good pressure by the Demons. Need to get it away here, and they do. Brown, who's had plenty of poise off half-back, doesn't panic. Now he kicks long up to centre half forward. A one-on-one situation here. Good play by the Tiger defence. Fiora picks it up. Handballs over the top. Now a chance for the Tigers. Coughlin comes out wide out to Ottens, who marks 55 out. Richo runs back to the square. He goes short to Tivendale, who's a beautiful kick inside his range now. He'll kick from just outside or just on the 50, and this is a very, very important kick.
Yeah, he's a beautiful kick, but Richmond have no format. They've got nobody really drawing the ball here. They're not honouring Richo's lead. Rivers was falling back on him then. We'll get a look at it. They're just all over the shop at the moment, the Tigers.
Tivendale kicked one last week, has kicked 84 career goals in 105 games. The left footer's bend, and he's bent it right. Put it through, and a badly needed one for the Tigers.
Margin 32 points. Still some speculation about what happened to Campbell. That won't do you any good.
They're going to bring the blood on there.
Not sure.
Out of the nose if he puts the base of the palm in there.
He gets a kick anyway. Inside the 50, juggle mark taken by Morrison.
Well, under 9 minutes, still plenty of time for the Richmond team here, and they've just got to get some other avenues to goal. It was the Tivendale, the one before that. Morrison's got to start to step up. They've got to take their focus away from Matthew Richardson, because that's where Melbourne defenders are gravitating towards, and start using some other forwards.
Morrison sends it goalward. It's tight. I think it's okay. Shane Morrison might light their fire.
The Demons led by 38 points. Now it's back to 26. They still lead this quarter by 2 points, leading by 24 at quarter time, but suddenly the Tigers are starting to lift. Out of the centre though, Demons, chance to reply. Bizzle crashing through, gets the handball working. Here's a chance now again for Godfrey. That kick was a beauty. The skipper needs to kick this one. There's 2 goals so far. Make that 3. 3 goals for the night.
Big kick this. Nice little run along here by the Richmond Footy Club. Again, Bizzle off half-back. He's so creative. He makes good decisions. Nice work by Godfrey, who can sometimes miss a target. And, well, Big Neitz, he's got 3 already. When he's on, he's on.
So Big Neitz, the Tigers have kicked the last 2. The captain's goal required. And a captain's goal delivered on order. It's a beauty. Neitz has kicked 4.
Running goals at the MCG on Friday Night Football. The margin back at 32 points. The time remaining 7.5 minutes till half-time. Good bounce to Stafford. Won it. On a collision course there, Thompson kept his eye on the football. Forward go the Tigers. That was Morrison high in the air. Wheatley got the crumb to White. He's on the wing. Davey stole a break. They won't narrow that margin. Davey off his step to Bruce. 65 metres out from goal. He's booted 2. Wheels around. Tries to centre it. Doesn't quite connect properly. That was Robertson up. Hand pass from Vardy. Godfrey on the turn down towards the kick-off line. Gaspar worked in front, spilt the mark. Neitz goes after it. Gaspar hit hard behind the head. No free. The umpire blindsided. Mad scramble 15 metres out. Whistle.
Vardy again, drop of the ball was first rate, Dermot. You don't have to be a tiny bloke to be a good crumbing forward.
Give me some room.
Umpire wants some room. So do the Melbourne forwards. They're not going to get it though. The Tigers swarm around in numbers. Stafford got the tap. It's there, close on the line. Good tackle. Have another ball up. Only a matter of metres inside the line.
He was on him like paint then.
Wayne Campbell. He'll feel it tomorrow when he wakes up for his bacon and eggs. There's no doubt about it. So Stafford obviously will try and concede the behind here. Don't hold. Holland doing the work. Umpires bounce. Hall over the top. The third man up. Gets the rush behind.
Cracker off. Otten's on. Cracker was on Clint Bizzle. So Bizzle now just wandering in the middle of the ground on his own.
Margin 33 points. Short one into Johnson.
12th possession coming up for him.
31 last week. That was a career high against the Magpies. Swings it up very wide. Chaffee. Haven't seen a lot of him. Kicks it up towards the wing, honouring the lead from Morrison. That's a strong mark.
Not paid, is it?
He's paid it.
No, he's calling the throw in.
Oh, gee. That is tough.
He's been probably their most impressive forward at the moment. He's presenting a really strong target.
I like Wheatley at centre half back.
I think that's a mark. Brown causing the fumble. Stafford had it, lost it. Campbell, Johnson combining there with Bowden. Slipped a hand pass away, and the kick from Coughlin goes, was it Tivendale? Out of bounds on the full.
Now, Wheatley's a big kid, Gary. Why have they not tried him in a key position like down back?
Probably hasn't been robust enough to him in recent times. He's had a couple of years under his belt now, so he needs to be able to play that. And McDonald and Campbell renew acquaintances.
Meanwhile, Brown's got the footy, right half back, hugs the boundary line with the kick. In from the side, Godfrey almost. Holland emerges with it. Campbell did well, knocked it down. Hall to Bowden. Attracted a crowd. Hand pass down towards half forward. Some indecision. Hyde should have been given a clear way. Now he's got a problem. Falling on top of him, Thompson. Tigers didn't do it well that time.
Just a bit of confidence dropping out of the Tigers.
A little bit of uncertainty. Eddie, they're certainly not out of this game. They're very much still in it. 23 points is not a massive margin. Distance covered, 6.5 to Cameron Bruce, 6.8 to Kane Johnson.
Okay, 33 points the difference here, inside 5 minutes to go. Clangers have been 8-1. Kick Clangers, Richmond and Melbourne. Beautiful effort there by Coughlin, who keeps on keeping on, there's no doubt about it.
Paddy's one hell of a smother, that.
Great play, that's what you need, good team lifting stuff.
Look at this.
That is a sensational smother.
That is as good as you'll see.
It wasn't smothered off the boot, it was smothered mid-air.
That's right.
Like a volleyball play, that one. Here's a chance. Green is a thumping kick. He lines up the goals. He lines up the goals and kicks his third. No wonder he's celebrating. That is an absolute ripper.
That's time now. You cannot afford... Well, how long we got till half-time? We've just got 4.5 minutes or a little bit under. You'd have to take Tivendale away now. I mean, you extrapolate that out to a full game, Gary. That's 6 goals from a winger. I know he's got... In reality, it's only 3 now, but that's a pumping for a winger.
Class act, Brad Green. Just that was a beautiful piece of football, this.
But even look where that... It's just paid him no respect.
He's kicked that from 55, Brad Green, on the run. And 3 goals is a very good result. 3 to Green, 2 to Bruce, 4 to Neitz. That's the sort of supply and results they would have been looking for earlier before this game even started.
Biggest margin of the night, 39 points. 76-37. Stafford directs it down, but in the wrong direction. Reed, upended, spills out towards the wing. Thompson feeds it back to Bizzle. Bizzle sends it down towards half forward and Robertson. Robertson about 75 metres from goal, wants to go immediately. Long ball, they'll compete about 20 metres out. Neitz launches himself, hands to it, couldn't hang on. Hartigan under pressure, goes to Hall, feeds it back to Chaffee. Short one to Bowden in the pocket, and he'll settle.
Message went out to Tivendale, just go into the forward 50, son. So he's gone down there. Green's gone with him for the moment, but they want Green back up in the middle.
Bowden towards the wing. Stafford worked out of the contest. Wheatley leads back in the race, claimed by Chaffee, stood up in the tackle, got it away to Jolly, falling to the ground. In comes Johnson, Coughlin. Now Hartigan spins around, forward of the wing, kicks inside the 50. Richardson works in front. Nicholson did well. Got a timely fist away. Green doing it at both ends. Still Green, aided by Nicholson. Shepherd comes away. Breaking hard towards the outer side. Wingers Whelan gets an obliging bounce. Turns around, looks towards half forward. He's stopped. Now measures the kick and goes to Godfrey, who's been busy.
Godfrey now at half forward flank. Demons full of run late in this term. Up to Robertson. Did he get one in the back? No, and didn't hold it long enough over the line and out of bounds.
Gee, the matchups have worked for Melbourne. Matthew Whelan, 11 possessions in the midfield against Nathan Brown, who kicked those 2 early goals, so he's holding his own.
Run it back out to Tivendale. Go deeper into the forward line. Take Green away from the half-back line now.
Heads are shaking in the Tigers box at the moment. Jolly thumps it. It's a good hit too. Over the top of it was Johnson. He couldn't quite pick it up. Now it's over the line and out of bounds. But it's at the right end for the Demons, that's for sure. Inside 3 minutes left in this half. What a game we have at the moment. The Demons by 39 points. Last week couldn't find a friend. And tonight, well, they've got the whole audience on their side. There's no doubt about it. Throwing it in inside the 50. Big Jolly. Up against Stafford. Jolly got the front spot. Godfrey across the front. Couldn't get a hand on the ball at all. Now it's cleared into the middle of the ground. Out they come. Big chance for the Demons again. Handball through. Bizzle off the ground was clever. It's picked up by Rivers, who's been good tonight. He's been dacked. Dacked. Should have been stripped of the ball as well, because he had it for a long time and didn't try much to get rid of it. Let's have a look. Did he take them on?
Fire opportunity there.
Oh, well, he could have
took them off.
Pretty hard to run away when your pants are around your knees.
No, we want him to handle it.
I'm not going to touch that, do it?
Sounds like experience to it. Here's Brown running towards the outer side. Robertson comes on a lead. It's an amazing player. I wish my mining shares would jump like Russell Robertson. Short one, hugs the boundary. Johnston's got it. There's a spring heel jab. Johnston. Look at the man on the mark. Ricochets out of bounds. He'll be thrown in.
Now Brad Green's moved away from Tivendale. Tivendale took him effectively to full-back as Brown comes to the interchange bench. Bizzle's just peeled back to take Tivendale. Green resumes his spot in the middle of the ground.
Sign of the dominance, 46% of the possession for Melbourne, 37 Richmond, but 32 inside 50s for 21 scoring shots. Richmond 19 for just 7. Coughlin keeps trying, couldn't get his hand on that one. Thompson in there for the Demons, trying to knock it out. Campbell, the skipper, over the top. We'll have another bounce. In the meantime, Dr. Peter Larkins, we saw Nathan Brown off the ground for the Tigers. What's happening?
Yeah, I thought it would have been a rotation, Ed, but he's having treatment to a left wrist moment with the physios on the bench. Just massage work around the tendons of the wrist, so they're not too concerned about it, but obviously a little bit sore there.
Okay, Pete, keep an eye on it. Don't like to see that, that's for sure, for the Tiger fans.
Oh.
Phil Reid on for his first game at the Melbourne Footy Club.
Phil! Thank you.
And wanting to get amongst it early on too, Gary.
Gonna be an angry ant, little Phil.
Yep, Jolly. And look at that, half a dozen players going up in the ruck there. Ball comes out to Fiora, just got the handball away, was good foot four. Now it opens up for Kellaway. Kellaway's kick, good kick too. Finds his teammate in Morrison. Morrison goes long to the pocket, looking for Tivendale. Up went Bizzle, I thought he had a hold of him. He did. Umpire didn't pay it. Wheatley's kick was a beauty though, out to Davey. Does the blind turn beautifully, finds some space, stops, props, then walks past an opponent, running around them. He looked like Diego Maradona as he kicked the ball forward off the hands of the pack. Holland dives in on top. Gasper threw it. He threw that out. Dives in on top. Holland gets another go. Handballs forward. Neitz into the open goal and gets it. He's kicked 5 before half-time.
Aaron Davey, Ed, he got it through the traffic. They are bewildered when he got that. They were just totally bewildered. His opponent didn't want to encroach on him. They thought it'll make it too easy for him to sidestep, so they stayed still. Watch this.
I think it's Hyde, the player that you're talking about there.
But look, he won't go at him. He says, if I run at him, I'm easy meat. I'm easy meat if I run at him. And he became easier than easy meat.
Mesmerised. He was like a rabbit in the headlights. I got to say, though, Tivendale unlucky down here, went into the ground, not to get a free kick, and it goes at the other end and a goal. So the Richmond fans, they'd be disappointed with that result, but I'll tell you what, 5 before half-time.
It's astonishing by Hyde. If you're going to make an error, you've got to make it trying, don't you?
It was a variation of hide and seek.
Oh, you've got to go back to the John Kennedy, just do something.
Better get Jekyll out there, I think.
Jolly thumps it down towards half forward. We've got a whistle. It's coming back. Melbourne 3. All coming unglued as far as the Tigers are concerned. Look at that scoreline. 82-37, 10 seconds to go. Well, what we've seen, don't say Melbourne can't score again. Where's Davey? This is Thompson. No, clock down to 3. I doubt a mark would do it here.
Oh!
magpie it.
Doesn't even qualify for Mark of the Year.
No.
Robertson's done it again.
It might be the even up for the Tivendale miss at one end, because that would have been almost a certain goal. The second cost them.
Haven't they been going? Well, put bluntly, they've gone inside forward 50 more times than the Tigers, and they've been tougher at them.
All right, let's have a look at this Tivendale one again as the ball comes forward. Free kicks, by the way, Melbourne 14, Richmond 6. Let's have a look here. Oh, that's the Robertson one, sorry. My apologies. So Robinson's mark. It was clearly after the siren, there's no doubt about that. The Tigers giving the umpires plenty, the Tigers fans that is, giving them plenty coming off the ground. 14 free kicks to 6. But boy, oh boy, what a game it has been for Melbourne. Richmond last week came out and they were the super side of the competition. They've obviously still got a round one hangover after last week because it's all the Demons. Unification night here. All the former greats of the Melbourne Football Club have been in attendance and they've seen a Melbourne side that reminds them of the 50s tonight. 12-10-82, 6-1-37. It's 45 points.
Father, Father, help us, send some guidance from above. These people got me questioning, where is the love? 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 Where is the love?
Welcome back to the MCG Friday Night Football half-time here, and your eyes do not deceive you. 45 points is the margin in favour of Melbourne. Big round one losers against big round one winners, and the roles have been reversed. They've been terrific up until half-time, led by their skipper David Neitz. Dermot.
Oh, he's been magnificent. 5 goals, 1. Green on the wing, 3 against Tivendale. Bruce 2. Holland a single along with Travis Johnson, and for the Tigers, Nathan Brown, the only multiple score kicker. Tivendale chipped in for a long bomb. Cracker, Morrison and Gasper 1 apiece also. Well,
it's been the hardest I think I've seen this Melbourne side for a number of years. They have been at the football from the word go. They caught a Richmond side on the back foot, I think. Some of it may have been still dwelling on their performances last Friday night, and the goals have come pretty freely. Their forward line has been potent from the word go, as their setup and structures have been in the right place. And they've had tall options to go at. This guy here, I think Peter Vardy is significant. Cameron Bruce back in after missing last week, also significant. He's just the class act in this side, and he got them on, off and running.
Yeah, well done to Holland as well. They just put his nose over the ball. But you have a look at this first quarter. All the attacking comes in from the left-hand side, or the right-hand side, as you sit in the goal square looking up. And Ray Hall, he's quicker than Ben Holland. He just couldn't read the ball coming in to the same extent, and just got caught behind it. McDonald was excellent in the first quarter, 9 possessions, only ended up with 10 at half-time, had a break, and, well, most of his damage after quarter time has been of the niggling variety. Neitz has been the target in the first quarter, led out to the right or straight up the ground, as we saw there. A bit of tunnel ball, and Travis Johnson, great skills there. Once again, you'd love to see him get a bit more. And Jeff White, the big long bomb in here.
David Neitz has been absolutely sensational, Dermy. He's been a massive presence up there and a handful for Gasper. He's kicked 5 goals to half-time. This bloke, Clint Bizzle, off half-back, has been equally as effective. Godfrey comes off the bench and they double-team, but he just hasn't been able to go with him at the moment. And you can tell, as I said in the call, when David Neitz is on, he's kicking his first rate, and he has been very reliable in front of goal tonight.
And this one either. Well, Tivendale sat goal side. Look, when you've got a dangerous player on someone like, you've got someone dangerous like Green, you've got to go shoulder to shoulder, not playing from a distance away. Now, this is, look at Hyde. He's just...
mesmerised.
He was. He thought, look, I'm no chance if I charge him. Well, what he became was a sitting duck then.
And this goal just comes about because Neitz gave a massive contest, Holland gave a massive contest, Robertson dives on the ball, they forced the turnover, that's just hard work from their forwards, creating opportunities. And I reckon that Neil Danaher would have been delighted with that. You have a look at the stats going forward. The inside 50s, 34 to 20 shots at goal, down at 20 to Melbourne, 7 to Richmond.
Well, they've had 22 scoring shots as well, you know, so they're really pasting them up there. But disposals per goal, I mean, exactly double. They are chipping it around too short in the back line because they're under pressure, the Tigers. Once they're forward of the centre, they go in quick, but no direction, no system.
Much more effective going forward, no doubt about that. James McDonald was the catalyst for Melbourne early in the piece. He started in the middle of the ground opposed to Kane Johnson. Johnson, I just don't think respected him enough, and his ability to get in and under and win hard football was fantastic. In fact, runner-up in the best and fairest last year, started on the bench last week. I think he relishes being right in the thick of the action. He's a fiery little customer, Doom, never takes a backward step, and we'll see shortly that Wayne Campbell could allude to that as well.
Well, yeah, Campbell's come off at half-time, or just before half-time, with a bit of claret coming out of the nose, inside and out. And look, you're right on McDonald. He hasn't got the body you'd say that is a champion's body. He's not put together like a Nathan Buckley or someone like that, but he just keeps finding the ball. He's ragged, he's dogged, he just keeps running into the right spot.
Yeah, look, I think that was probably indicative of a little bit about how Richmond went about it. I don't think they respected the likes of McDonald enough, maybe even Green. Wayne Campbell, as I said, he got to know...
a bit of it too, though, himself.
Wayne Campbell's been good, but this is incidents on and off the footy. Wayne Campbell and McDonald running down the forward line, he gets under the skin, and then all of a sudden it just exploded from nowhere. And I'm not sure if that's just the frustration of Wayne Campbell coming out.
That's pretty silly. I mean, they did have the ball, Melbourne, but that's a 50-metre charge if the umpire sees that.
It is, and look, it keep going. Now, this is Travis Johnson. Now, you don't like to see hands on faces. You can't tell definitively if that was the cause of the problem for Wayne Campbell. And he came back on. They continued their little discussion, and it might be ongoing in the second half. It won't worry James McDonald. He is an angry ant.
Great.
Yeah, it's good to see. Matthew Richardson had no impact on the game so far. Clint Bizzle has had a lot to do with that, as has Alistair Nicholson, who had a massive job going into this. And this will tell you why in lots of ways. Quick break out of the middle. You should have a one-on-one contest, but all that happens is Bizzle comes back and it's a 3-on-2. Last week we didn't see that. We saw Matthew Richardson compete one out. They just mop up back there and ends up running out. So, but you can't underrate or understate how Nicholson's played him.
Also, with Nicholson, I mean, he was really pasted up last week and he copped a fair bit of criticism during the week. What he has done, before the ball's even coming in, he's just niggling onto Richo, just bumping him off a clean running line, and that's really having an effect on the way Richo attacks the ball. He's playing the best one-possession half of footy you'd want to see, Alistair Nicholson.
He's got a big job in the next half. It is a big night for Melbourne Footy Club tonight. A unification night, different factions coming together to all walk under one banner. We can go down to a couple of Melbourne champions, former captains in Robert Flower and Todd Viney, who are down in the Melbourne rooms at the moment. And Rob and Todd, you'd be pretty delighted with what you've seen in the first half.
Yes, certainly, Gary. It's been much better footy. Certainly last week was a bit of a shock to the system after such a good pre-season, and tonight they're really showing the way and really exciting the crowd, and hopefully a lot of people watching tonight.
And good to see you got the country outfit on, Toddy, there. Just they haven't got too dressed up. That's nice to see. But Robbie, you were in the rooms before the game. Could you sense that they'd really set themselves for this for the first half in particular?
Well, I think there was a quiet resolve around the rooms that they wanted to do well, and with all the former players in here and the supporters, I think it created a great atmosphere for them to go out and play good footy, and they've certainly done that.
Robbie, is it more, well, I mean, it's obviously satisfying seeing the Demons at half-time having a real dig, but it must be very gratifying to get down there and see some of the people who really have made Melbourne a great club.
I think it's great, and I think it's fantastic on Neil Danaher's behalf to organise this and get it together. And I think this could be the start of something big, to get all the guys together and really from all sectors of the club administration, supporter groups and players. And I think it's to be congratulated on that.
And Toddy, you were down there with these players, a couple of faces you wouldn't have seen for a long time. It was heartening to see, I must admit, from an old Melbourne point of view, to see all these familiar faces.
It was, if this is what it takes to get the club back on a positive foot, then it's been a great initiative of Neil. Like, it's not his natural caper to go out of his way and market the club, but he's really got out of his comfort zone, and he's done a great job, and tonight's the start of something very special for the rest of the year.
Well, it's great to catch up with you two champions down there. Don't eat too many pies, Todd, and Robbie, good health to you. Let's hope that for your sake and the Melbourne Footy Club's sake that they can continue on their merry way. Membership, of course, also a big issue for the Melbourne Footy Club. And there's the number, 1800 33 6667. Easy on the pies, Todd.
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate that.
Todd Viney and Robbie Flower down in the Melbourne rooms. Now, we're going to give someone a sporting chance, Dermot, to win $2,000 right here on Friday Night Football. And the opportunity to do that is 9 sporting chance. Simply answer this question. Here's a simple question. Which team will take the most marks in tonight's match? You can SMS this number, 188924. The entries close at the end of tonight's broadcast. And if you've got access to 9 Sports Active via an interactive digital set-top box, it will be even easier to find the answer. So, sporting chance indeed. $2,000 is a very nice sum. A big Sunday of football coming up on Channel 9. It kicks off at 11 o'clock, of course.
And then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer, not a trace of God in my mind. Now I'm a believer, yeah. Now I'm a believer, not a trace of doubt in my mind.
Well, do you believe in demons? They certainly do. And they have turned it around. There has been an exorcism down there at Melbourne during the week. 45 points at half-time, 82 plays, 37. David Neitz has kicked 5 goals, won his best haul ever against the Tigers, 7 goals, round 15, 1996. He's on target to break that one. These boys have to stop it. Tony Jones has been listening in boundary side. G'day, Tone.
Yes, thanks very much, Eddie. What the coaches had to say a little later. But that footage we've been showing of the Wayne Campbell incident, that's what the new video reporting officer, Ian Robertson, will be looking at tomorrow. If there's anything untoward, he has the power to lay a report as early as Sunday.
All right then, Tony, a bit more about what happened in the trenches at half-time from you a little bit later on. In the meantime, it's 45 points the difference. Dennis Cometti.
Wasn't totally walk. There goes the bounce. Ottens directs it down. Coughlin backs off McDonald, kicked it about 15 metres. Bizzle starts the second half as he finished the first with the football. Goes out wide. Uze looks back towards the middle. Sets it up for Holland. Gaspar worked in front, and from the side, Chaffee knocked it away. Hartigan surrounded. The meat and the sandwich. Down he goes, and a bounce in the pocket as we go down to the good doctor.
Yes, Dennis, both sides got 4 fit players on the bench. Shane Morrison just had his wrist checked just before half-time, but it looks like he's all right. He's back out there.
And Pete Brownie's wrist, how's that?
Yeah, he actually had work on both wrists, had a massage on both, Ed, so it looks like he's no troubles.
Okay, it's good news. Cracker goes forward to Chaffee. Chaffee up the line. Beautiful kick to Morrison. That wrist looks all right now. When you've got the Sherrin in your hands, you look very fit. It was called by an opponent there, I think, the handball. Now, what's the umpire doing?
Accidentally did, so bring it back. I know.
Accidentally
bring
did.
it back. Yeah, I know.
Okay, umpire says he accidentally called play on. Umpire Sean Ryan.
Jerry G.
Yeah. Fantastic. It was an accident. Coughlin on the boundary line. The Tigers need one. They need one quickly. Brown up and takes a strong mark.
Well, this is the area that they're falling down in really badly, Eddie. They're trying, Melbourne have done it really well. They've pushed numbers back. They've denied them space and the opportunity to compete one out. So they started Brown deep with Matthew Richardson.
Nathan Brown kicked 2 goals at this end in the first term.
15 Demons inside defensive 50 now, just to block up the leads.
Did this last week, walked around and kicked on the right boot. Melbourne players were a little bit more awake on that occasion than their Collingwood counterparts last week. And as a result, he had the rush to kick it through for a behind.
Not much change, as you wouldn't, in Melbourne's forward half. They've gone with the same setup, which was dangerous the whole time.
Swap key backman, though. Gaspar gone to Holland.
44 points the difference, Melbourne in front.
And Hall gone to Neitz.
There's a whole lot of danger in that one.
A bit of danger in that, I think.
Bizzle to Whelan. Early going third term. Friday night football at the G. Melbourne turning things upside down, certainly on the results of last week. Wheatley out of defence to Brown, a runner alongside, used as a decoy.
Been good.
He runs through midfield. Not his best effort with a kick. Kellaway, almost a clever mark. In fact, he took it. Well done. Plays on. Hartigan, the youngster. His second game to Johnson. Kane Johnson towards right half forward. Richardson, his second possession. It's about 65 metres from goal. Short one is on to Brown, hard against the boundary line. Come around on his left foot here. And the umpire a wake up to that, sending him back to his right.
Now, Matthew Richardson kicked it to him. He has to wait now for Richardson to get back in the square.
Well, slow developing play. McDonald takes the mark.
We've taken more marks than the Tigers have than the Demons. It's only because they chip it so short.
Vardy in two minds, didn't know whether the umpire had made a mistake. He was told to play on. Opposite back pocket goes short. Wheatley has it. He does play on towards the wing. Precise kicking. This is Thompson. Wheels around. Honours the lead from Neitz. Gets in front of Hall. Oh, that's a terrific mark. Hands like a pair of ice.
And Dennis Thompson shook off the Tiger opponent very easily here. Have a look at this.
I don't think he knew he was a left footer.
Yeah, and that's unforgivable in this day and age. And the precise kicking of Wheatley out of half-back was impressive. Neitz kicked one from just on 50 before half-time. He's in very good kicking form at the moment.
Maybe Bowden's video's on the blink. Here's Neitz, 55 metres out. Gives it a ride. It'll fall about 3 metres short. Good grab. Up in front. Brad Ottens.
Maybe they're watching last week's highlights.
But you've got to be honest here and call it as is. That's what frustrates the Richmond supporters with Joel Bowden. He's very good when he gets it, but efforts like that to stop his opponent are lacklustre.
A question with notice for Dr. Peter Larkins as this ball goes over the line. Pete, bad luck, you're not going to get the notice. Oh, there he is. You're going to get the footy instead. Well done, Peter.
Good gather, Pete.
Pete, we want to know, Matthew Richardson hurt his neck last week. Is there any residual effects with him tonight coming into this game?
Oh, it's a bit like when you hit your funny bone in your elbow, Ed, and it can last for a few hours and then you've forgotten about it by the next day. So I would expect that he's probably resolved within 24 hours.
OK, then, McDonald dispossessed. Good thump forward by Bruce. Kellaway, little handball to Cracker, who's been great tonight. To Coughlin, who keeps running into dead ends. On that occasion it was McDonald. Trying to hoik it out of mid-air was Johnstone. Over the top is Holland, the former Tiger. And he's done it well. He holds it up. And the Melbourne fans with a nice polite round of applause to let him know that they're on their side. There you go. The boys are wrestling hard at the moment. It's a dead ball. Richo, by the way, 2 disposals, 2 marks, and he's kicked 1 behind for the night. That's the sum total of Richo's contribution.
Thanks, mate.
Otten's got the tap. Uze in forward, shinned it forward. Hardigan just thumped it away. Should have maybe marked the ball. Miller looking to get the handball off. Umpire says you threw it away, son. Free kick to the Tigers.
Well, they're offside here. Roden's on the right side. Campbell's on his own. And he's chosen the wrong option.
Oh, across the ground to Ottens. They had 2 men inside the 50 loose. Ottens short. Hardigan. Now he kicks inside the 50.
Great kick.
It was a good kick and a good lead to Richardson coming hard and strong. Didn't desist.
It's a long way from home though, Richo. The stated aim is to take his marks, deeper inside 50.
All of 55 metres from here. A bad effort, just tailing away behind.
Clear defence.
That was a great kick, wasn't it? Didn't miss by much. 2 behinds to Matthew Richardson.
Didn't miss by much, but it was enough. So Wheatley at full back, who's been very good with his kicking tonight.
It's a thumping kick of the footy, Eddie. This might be a signal they're going long.
It's the hurry up from the umpire and does exactly that. Big kick. The ball falls just inside middle of the ground. Good play by Coughlin over the top. Here's a chance now. Bowden from outside 50, but he's hit the side of the boot to the pocket. And there's going to be a free kick to Wheatley, who was manhandled before the ball had got within 5 metres. 8th possession for Wheatley. Oh, beautiful clearing kick out to Nicholson, who's got it. He can give it away now. Off to Jeff White. White runs to centre wing. The leader's from Neitz. Out he comes. It bounces out in front of him. Neitz picks it up on the hop. Does it pretty well. Kellaway's there, though, for the Tigers. Gets it across to Hardigan at full stretch. A long kick up towards the half-forward flank position. Out they come. Brown gets it. Does it nicely onto the left boot. The 2 Nathan Browns at each other. The kick from NG Brown was a good one, but it was punched away. Now McDonald with a sweeping handball out wide. Great play. Green on the left boot. Puts it out. Davey's got to beat 2. He has to get the ball first. Now he does. Sits up nicely for him. He's got a big chance to go over the top. Melbourne have got numbers and loose men, and Bruce was one of them. Couldn't hold the mark. Should have on that occasion. Gasper trying to find some space. Does, and hits Chaffee.
He saw Cameron Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce is hurt. Otten's meantime to Chaffee.
He's only playing his second game, and seasoned veterans like Chaffee are playing Aaron Davey ultimate respect and not playing on him.
Johnson to Roden alongside the centre circle. He's got toe to, kicks inside the 50, well inside the 50. Brown almost. Whelan pushed in the back. He'll get the free kick. It was clumsy by Nathan Brown.
Roden's only his 3rd disposal for the game so far.
This game has been less about possessions and more about positioning yourself around the ground. They are prepared to concede some footy, Melbourne, and get back and crowd up the back half and attack from half back.
That's yours.
What do you do there, boys?
He got a bit of a knee or in the chest in the marking contest.
Thompson to White. Bouze storming through the middle, sets it up for Holland. Well done by Gaspar over the top to knock it away. Davey, uncharacteristic fumble, went to ground. The 2 youngsters. Hartigan winning that contest. Goes short to Ottens, short of right half back. Lead is on further afield at Coghlan. Hasn't seen a lot of the football tonight.
They're running better now, the Tigers.
Coghlan, his 14th possession. Bowden across the ground. Newman still inside the centre square to space in front of Richardson. Flying over the top was Wheel and missed everything. Brown released. Running Goldwood lines it up. No, he doesn't. He chips across and finds Stafford 10 metres out. Clever football. To all intents and purposes was going to shoot. And then at the last moment pulled the string.
Matthew Whelan once again in that marking contest elects to go. Well, if you're going to go, you've got to punch the ball away from your immediate opponent. Your immediate opponent in that case was Brown, who stayed on the ground. 1 possession, gets it to Stafford.
Huge kick this one. Tigers must get a goal, and Stafford delivers.
So some 10 minutes of play in the 3rd term, and the first goal of the quarter comes up. The Tigers have kicked 1 goal, 2 since half-time. Melbourne yet to score. Is this the start of the revival for the Tigers? Johnson gets it out. The skipper besieged upon. Johnson gets it out again. Here's Newman trying to crash through Bizzle. Got the handball working. Plenty of demons there. It comes to Green, who thumps it onto the bird up towards Robertson. Did well to get the position. Almost took the mark, then recovered nicely. Found a bit of space. Inside 50, flicks it out wide, out to Travis Johnson. Wants onto his left boot. He's gone. Umpire agrees. Free kick. Tigers have lifted.
That can be enough to start something for Richmond. A couple of big tackles, a bit of persistence, and turn the footy over. And not surprisingly, this fellow is at the forefront.
Kellaway to Bowden. Bowden onto a 2-on-2 situation here. The ball spills nicely for Gasper. He's the only one who didn't fly. Gasper's kick up to the forward 50. Good interception there by Wheatley. Wheatley charged after the ball, but he's given it up. The kick from Johnson had a loose man forward. It was Brown, didn't see him. The high up and under. Brown lost sight of the ball, picked up by Bizzle, broke the tackle. Got it out to Whelan. Whelan gets it working again. Nicholson lumbers out of the fence, gets it out to Wheatley. Now there's a chance for the Demons. They've got players on everywhere. It comes out wide to Barty. Barty wants to go all the way himself. Now he can chip it into the forward 50. Up it comes towards Holland. Off the hands of the pack. Neitz does it well. Picked it up like a basketballer. But Hartigan robs him and kicks. And the Tigers now away with Richardson on centre wing.
Whips a hand pass to the runner Bowden. Forward of the wing. McDonald got him. That's holding the ball.
What an effort. That can be enough to stem the tide a bit.
And what about Rivers moments ago? Didn't he think his way through that down in the square, outnumbered 2-on-1? 2 experienced players. He was wonderful. Vardy, meantime, high ball inside the 50. Neitz from behind, falls in front, snapped by Robertson. How will it bounce? Not Melbourne's way.
That's a third penetrating kick inside Melbourne's forward 50 this quarter that has been directed to Ben Holland.
Robertson, 3 behinds now. 12-11, 7-3. Midway through the term, Fiora. Where will he go? Low and hard towards the middle. That was a good grab. Bowden Sliding to the ground to Johnson. Johnson to space on the outer side. Tivendale. Green closes him down. Tivendale, a long way from home. Spots him in on the lead. Morrison, way over his head. Chopped off by Wheatley to the outer side. Davey, miscued completely. Bandages his hand and then plays on. Goes short and gives it to McDonald. McDonald looks towards the middle, finds Holland. Well, how about that? Young Davey in his second game may have dislocated a finger out there. In fact, he has. They're pulling it in now. Or trying to.
Yeah, he lost it in the lights. Yeah. Finger poked out. The Onka Paringa.
Just has a look.
Composed enough to use it.
Holland, 55 metres out. Sets it on its way. Hasn't got the carry. Off hands. Johnstone down in front. No room to manoeuvre. Straight to Campbell. Campbell in the back pocket. Chips towards right half back. Kellaway. What a campaigner. Clever mark.
Beautiful mark. Campbell and Kellaway combining to Tivendale, but he's got nothing really on. He has to go short again to Cracker. Still no loose men forward for Cracker. Has to invent something, and does with a beautiful kick to the leading Richardson. Richardson's inside half forward now. Spearing pass looking for Brown. Hit Whelan in the mush. Bruce's handball just had Uze stretching, but was good enough to get it away. Back to Whelan, finds some space, out to Wheatley. Wheatley now can go long. Jeff White has got the sit. Get ready for mark of the night. Up he goes and takes a beauty. Handballs off to Davey. He's a little bit too quick for the young man on that occasion. Cop one high, the Tiger player Campbell. He'll have a sore noggin tonight, no doubt about it. In goes Hyde, and the ball's still in play. Johnson can't pick it up. He's had the fumbles all night tonight, Travis Johnson, and the ball spills over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in half-forward flank.
Isn't it amazing how altitude affects some players? They take a great grab, and invariably they muck it up when they come down.
I reckon Neil Danaher wouldn't be upset, though. I think his message at half-time would don't try and save this game, keep on attacking and taking a risk.
Thrown in, Otten's in front, almost took clean possession, took the gamble, found the ball on the ground, kicks beyond the wing towards half forward, offhand. Richardson a half chance at the back, does well, feeds it away. Newman a centering kick, and a good one too. In front, Brown couldn't hang on. Whelan coming back, Brown going to ground, gets a hand pass to Cracker. No way through there. Rivers took him down, holding the ball.
It's better every time you see him.
Yeah, this kid is very good, isn't he? The 26th man taken in the 2002 draft. Not much of him, but he plays with an appetite. Now Green settles. Some danger there. Bizzle.
Oh, that really will test his ribs out landing on the ball like that.
How good has he been, Bizzle?
Terrific. Very good player. Maybe the best player in this team. Brown to Whelan, and not just tonight. Bruce had it bounce off his chest. Johnson slides across in the oblique angle. Pushed across the line by Godfrey. Boundary throw in. 7.5 minutes till three-quarter time. Melbourne now sensing Richmond are making another move, and they're trying to put them down.
The Tigers having a real dip here. I mean, they're pushing men into the back line, and at least they're running out with the flow of the ball. They were stagnant first half.
Big 7.5 minutes left in this term. Demons by 38 points to the boundary line. Again, we'll have another throw in as Jeff White goes to the bench, and Jolly comes on to take the ruck work. Just to sprint over quickly.
Big possession. As I said earlier, it's not about possessions tonight. There's been a lot of space for a few of these midfielders without having had a big impact on the game.
Chance for Ons to flick it to the back of the pack. He ends up palming it down. Johnson.
That sort of thing.
Roden. Wheatley happy to concede the boundary line, and we'll have another throw in.
Richardson out to half forward. They've identified the fact that he was being starved of opportunity. Campbell to the bench, and just started to move Alistair Nicholson around. He's got to start using that whole 50 and his great running ability. Try and turn Nicholson around and create opportunities that way.
Boundary umpire a little bit shallow with the throw in. Johnson and Hyde will have a bounce.
Thanks.
Scratching ahead in the Richmond box, Danny Frawley. Pensively looks on. The dream start last week.
Kellaway's loose by himself in the centre square here. If it comes out the back door for the Tigers, they can go directly into the midfield, and it's an easy spot up.
Jolly got the tap. It was a good one, said the umpire. Bowden looking for the left boot. Handballs away to Hyde, who just slams it on. Bizzle. put himself in the right spot, but Cracker got it out, did it beautifully, out to Johnson. He'll want to find the left boot as well. He's caught. Whitley crashes through. Threw it up and punched it away. Green's handball just went straight to Ottens. Danger period here. Mistakes as the fatigue starts to settle in. Whelan tried to crash through. Now it comes out to Bizzle, who takes off. Now goes backwards again to Jolly. Jolly over the top to Miller. Miller kicks wide. They need a mark. Robertson provides it. Robertson. Long kick. Neitz is the target. He'll need to beat two. Up he goes, up the hands of the pack. There's a man in the square, all on his own. And missing with the kick was Phil Reid. The man in the square was Holland.
Yeah, Gasper, his man left. Holland standing alone 20 metres to assist in the marking contest. All Phil Reid needed to do was just to drop it in the goal square.
Chaffee close to the boundary line. Bowden has to stretch further up the ground. A chance now for Kellaway. Puts back towards the middle. Awkward kick. Coghlan has to stop. Just outside the defensive 50. Coghlan off his stride. Yora just inside the centre square. Works it to Morrison, about 20 metres away. Where's Richardson? Morrison goes for distance. In front, Richardson, body to body, slapped away by Nicholson. Rode by Reid. The short one is on a clever kick, demanding that Miller came to it, and he did.
They've got a bit static themselves now, Melbourne.
To a contest. Bowden reaches over the top of Robertson. Bizzle, clever, knocks it on to Robertson, running out of space, goes back to Bizzle, working in a phone box. Bizzle, hard against the line, kicks inside the 50. Big pack at the drop, Theora almost. It favours Bruce, gets a hand pass away to no one in particular. Neitz crashes the pack, flicks it out to Bruce, had it, lost it. Godfrey picks it up, away to Thompson. Thompson snaps, high ball. It's gone 15 metres. Up was Davey, couldn't hang on. Coming away is Hyde. He kicks it towards the wing. Wheatley has been very good tonight. First back on the football, Wheatley looks to the middle, pulls the kick, realising he had two teammates to choose from. This is Thompson.
Thompson plays on. Godfrey did well to call him on. It's a long kick to the goal square again. It's like kick the kick in the playground at the moment. They're just bombing it in. Here's Godfrey, another high up and under. Here's a chance for Bruce. He's got a chance to mark. He couldn't quite grab it. Picked up by Holland. Over to the Mercurial. Johnson has a look at the goal. Sizes up. Kicks across the face. And that's over the line and out of bounds. For a throw in the forward pocket, Tony Jones.
Well, frustration obviously creeping in with the Tigers. Kane Johnson was screaming for a rotation. When he did eventually came off, he gave the bench a nice old spray.
All right. Screaming to come off. It used to be you'd scream if you were taken off.
That's right.
Throw in. Kellaway. Gets it outside 50. Brown couldn't quite stretch high enough. Good play again there by Melbourne, by Thompson. It comes out to Bizzle. Tries to crash through. Good tackle by Cracker. Another chance for the Demons. It scores out wide for Miller. Tries to bend it around the body. He does. He's kicked it. And that is a huge goal in the context of this game.
For the moment, Melbourne meeting the challenge. The margin was 45 points at half-time. That's the margin right now.
A lot of energy spent in that last 10 minutes, and the goal that was going to be scored was going to be so critical. And, well, the fact that Melbourne got it, it's going to make life very difficult for the Tigers from here.
Miller sporting a bit of graffiti there too. Up very high was Jolly, and it's going to be a free kick against Jolly to Ottens.
Might be a good one to give away there, Dennis.
Yes, Ottens. The worse for wear. To Newman. Penetrating kick. In front, Richardson. Knocked away by Nicholson. Taken by Tippendale. Sends a very high one in. Where's Rivers? He's in the meat of it there. Goes again, Rivers. Brought a man down after the spoil. Campbell, though, camped in front of the pack. Gets a good bounce. It's a goal. Something out of nothing.
So 39 points to difference. The Tigers, 2 goals to 1 this term. Campbell, beautiful kick.
Straight into him again.
Now, we'll show a replay in a moment. This umpire had better learn what's going on as far as ruck contest. You are allowed to make contact. So 2 free kicks could result in 2 quick goals.
I tell you, Eddie, the word is that the umpire claims he took his eyes off the ball and looked down before he jumped in. Now, fair
he does do that, but when he gets there...
It doesn't matter.
Who says where you got to look?
Richardson kicks to the pocket towards Ottens. We'll show you both those ruck contests in a moment. Green just chips it out. Richo has got it. Nice kick inside. No, it wasn't a nice kick. I thought he had a player on. He had a player on. He just missed him. Now a big chance for the Demons. Godfrey's kick was magnificent. And Neitz, who has got 5 goals, 1 on the board tonight, gets his first chance for a goal in the 3rd term.
Something about the Richmond backline, I would hazard a guess that never in his career has Darren Gaspar been moved off onto 3 opponents because they've all beaten him. Well, Neitz kicked 5 on him in the first half, and then Holland took several marks in this 3rd quarter, and he was moved away, and he's ended up running around with Miller now. So very rarely would that champion be moved around.
His 6 marks all inside 50. Huge man comes in, lovely kick. 6 goals, 1 on the night to the captain. The Demons reply again.
Margin back at 45 points. Otten's resting after this.
Look, that is... I'd love to have a line to Sam Newman. That is copybook ruck work, one would imagine.
And that was a draw. No contest, I'd suggest. Still, 2 free kicks in there. Both to the Tigers. But Ottens has paid a price. White, brilliantly done to Reid, to Johnston on the burst. Spots a man on the move. Bruce, low down. Did he mark it? He claims it. Play on's the call from the umpire, tries to dig it out. In goes Fiora, just dropped the ball. Bruce goes in, slips it away to Davey, lines up. Oh, that will hurt you. Cop that. Here's first.
So the Demons double the Tigers score, the biggest margin of the match, 51 points. They've kicked the last 2, the Demons. Coughlin trying to get the ball out of the centre of the ground. It spills to Tivendale, trying to get onto his left boot. He slams it onto his right and hopes for the best, and as a result, Nicholson chops it off. Nicholson to Brown.
4th possession for Nicholson.
And this Nathan Brown, we're all expecting the other one to be the big star tonight, has been very good.
Been excellent across half-back. He's developed into a real leader down at the Melbourne Footy Club, Nathan Brown.
16th disposal for Nathan Brown of Melbourne to Bizzle. Look at this beautiful kick from Bizzle, opens it right up. Whoops, spoke too soon. Rivers had plenty of time, has still got plenty of time to hit Reid. Davey's peeled off here as well.
Oh, Jeff
White's there. White is still there, and still there's probably 3 or 4 Melbourne players running free. One of them's Reid, who ran into a brick wall, sold the dummy beautifully, then had a flying shot at the goal. Robertson! Out of nowhere! Has taken a screamer!
He just shouldn't have taken that, Des. He just should not have taken that.
Just before half-time, and he would have been filthy about that fact. And he just said, I'm jumping early here, and hopefully the arms will get there, and they were extender arms.
Well, justice. He just snuck in this time before the 3/4 time siren. He has kicked 3 behinds for the night. This to make the margin 57 points.
It's like a ladder match with Aaron Fiora.
In he comes, Russell Robertson, last year's Melbourne best and fairest, kicks the goal. Demons by 57 points. And they are on the march. If there's one thing in football that'll unify a club, it is a 4 points at the end of a game, but an emphatic 4 points, and that is what Melbourne have been able to set up at this stage of the game. With 1/4 of football to go, it's Melbourne by 57 points. 16-12, 108, 8-3, 51. What can Danny Frawley do? Welcome back to Friday Night Football. A good old-fashioned rev-up from the heroes of the past, and Melbourne came to play tonight. Unified, they were playing great football. Nathan Brown was the only one early on to show any stuff of last week for the Tigers. Then it was a private war between McDonald and Campbell. Campbell rams his head into the ground, and then it was on. Travis Johnson comes in to lend some assistance. Finally, Campbell goes off under the blood rule. Davey had to move to get out of that tackle, and then everybody moved around him. He's able to set up David Neitz and set up a 45-point lead at half-time for the Melbourne Football Club. Into the third quarter. Can they come back? Nathan Brown, the star from last week, set up Stafford. Here they come, said the Tiger supporters, until this moment when Russell Robertson took a big mark on the siren, kicked the goal, and now the Demons lead by 57 points. So Richmond basically have to score 10 goals to zip to win this game against Melbourne. They can't do it, Gary.
Haven't looked like it, Eddie, all night. They have been very slow and static going forward. They haven't had dangerous forwards like they did last week. And this is one of the reasons why they're struggling. This is how the ball has come inside 50. They wanted to get it deep. They need to get it deep into Matthew Richardson to take those contested marks. But as you have a look here, see this area here? That's the sort of area that one football has probably gone, and none have gone right into this point here where you want at the top of the square. So that's where they've got to try and penetrate, push through the middle, push up, kick deep.
Almost set for a start, Tony Jones, boundary side.
Well, a week's certainly a long time in football, Ed, that's for sure. I obviously time it when I start talking, but look, the Richmond supporters were hurling abuse to the Tiger huddle across the fence there. The Melbourne players affording themselves a quick glance at the scoreboard. It looks pretty good for them.
McDonald out of the middle, thank you, Tony. And Neitz on the end of it, 25 metres out. So bear in mind, this time last week, the Tigers led by 39 points. That's a turnaround of 96 points to the moment. About to get over 100.
McDonald's amazing. The amount of clearances he gets from the midfield on his non-dominant left foot, that's staggering. I don't know whether he just stands that side and that's his starting point, or whether he feigns to the left all the time, but it just consistently happens.
Neitz, the number 7. Gun barrel straight. 7 to David Neitz.
Well, James McDonald started the first quarter. He started it again out of the middle here, and again David Neitz on the end of it. And what a difference a big, strong forward makes down the other end. Darren Gasper, his first opponent, sitting at full forward. Have a look at this. Too much room. And as you said, Dermot, it probably worked in their favour. Half a dozen times the ball's come inside 50 for Melbourne with mongrel-type floating kicks. That gives the forward an advantage because they react first, and he's been able to mark low down.
Darren Gasper's gone to full forward now. That's his 4th position for the night. So, no, it's actually his 5th position. Ended up at centre forward before three-quarter time.
McDonald's been fantastic tonight. David Neitz has now equalled his best ever haul against the Richmond. He kicked 7 round 5, 1996. He's got 7 goals, 1 tonight, and we've still got 18, just under 19 minutes of football to play in his final term. Brown's been great, so too this man Wheatley. Up the wing they go again, plenty of numbers. Phil Reid runs, looks up. Now he kicks long and strong. It's a beautiful kick too, out in front. That was a magnificent kick. Holland.
He's just going to be way too big for Ty Zantuck. He's brave in his game, Ty Zantuck, but he's 6'1". Ben Holland is 6'5".
Holland's 5th mark, but this kick from Reid, not only did it have penetration, but he put it to the right side of the pack for Holland. That was great play.
It was a great decision to go to where he went.
1 goal, 1 for Holland. Just outside 50, 1 goal, 2 for Holland. Dr. Peter Larkins.
So Matty Whelan for Melbourne. Ed came off halfway through the third quarter with a really nasty looking shoulder. He just couldn't move the right arm. They've iced it and worked it up over three-quarter time. Still sitting on the bench, so we'll catch up after the game and see what the diagnosis is there.
He was on Nathan Brown, of course, and did a pretty good job. Adam Uze has now got that job.
Chance to see how Joel Bowden shapes up now. As a half-forward, he's responsible for Clint Bizzle.
Tippendale to the outer side. Robertson came on the angle. Johnson got the crumb. Away to Campbell. Measures the kick around the outer side. Very tight, though, out there, as you could see. Bizzle in characteristic fashion, roving the back. Untidy kick by his standards tonight. Ottens, that was ambitious. Davey brought him down. Hartigan's got the football, running out of space, got a hand pass away. Johnson against the boundary line, hugs it with the kick, and the ball is punched across the boundary line by a high-flying Nicholson from behind. Not much of the football tonight, but he's done a wonderful job.
He's in the most valuable players at this stage. You'd have to tag Clint Bizzle now, surely.
Oh, you just got to press on him, yeah.
In handcuffs. White and Ottens. White's been pretty good tonight as well. Ball runs free at the back. Nathan Brown, the short one, on the lead. Green had it fisted away. Brown comes again. Gets the crumb after the kick, goes to Vardy. Vardy in the centre square. The short one is on to Neitz. And Neitz is marked about 40 metres out. Will line up at his 8th.
Well, Ray Hall tried to second-guess that one, Dennis. If we get a view here, Ray Hall's all... Right now, Ray Hall's running at goals. He's got to stop and come back.
So Neitz shooting at goal. And like a date made at closing time, this is turning ugly. Neitz inside the 50. Long bomb. He likes it. It's a goal. He's got 8.
Neitz has kicked the first 2 of the last quarter, has 7 for the night, and we're out to a 70-point thrashing now at the MCG. What a night for the Melbourne Football Club.
8 for Neitz, Ed.
8, sorry.
Yep.
My apologies.
8-1 he's kicked.
8 goals, 1. 7 was his previous best. We were talking about that before. 8 goals, 1. Off the hands of the pack. Nicholson has been a star tonight, hasn't he?
Superstar.
To Bizzle, to Uze. Bizzle's just been fantastic. So's this too. Godfrey, this man. What a great player he's been. Vardy dragged to the ground by Hartigan. Holland has been a very effective target up forward. Davey trying to do the impossible over the line and out of bounds. Holland has certainly been a fantastic foil for Neitz up forward. He was the man who got his hand on it early on.
You know, I watched him last week, Ed, and there was too much space around him. The Hawks just ran off him and made him look slow. Tonight, he's done all the close-in work. Like that, what he's doing right there now. Hard work, tackling.
McDonald's picked pocket to Ottens on that occasion. Fiora looks up and there's nothing. Last week, he'd have 3 players on centre wing. This week, he's got a kick to an open paddock, and he's going to come straight back. Johnson, some party tricks. Should have taken it with 2 hands, and now he's been made to pay as Chaffee has the ball at half-back flank.
Chaffee down towards left half forward. Richardson with Nicker. He deserves that honour. A nickname tonight. He's mastered Richo. Short one from Uze to Reed.
Lining up in the middle.
Yes, as if they were running up in the ground. Miller to Uze. Back through the middle. Suddenly, these Demons have got the appetite for this one. Inside the 50. Holland, was he pushed in the back? Clattering in down there was Robertson, picked up by Vardy. That was interesting. Vardy goes again, slaps it across to Godfrey, liked his game, hesitates. Was that Dale Waitman? He's still nimble. It's gathered there by Bizzle over the top. In goes Davey, gets his second.
This be what you'd call a reality check.
Well, the Tiger fans had great delight in sending off the Magpies last week.
They'll kick 150 points here, the Demons.
A week is a long time in football, as we know, and the Tiger faithful are heading out the door. They're heading to Tigerland, down to Punt Road, but not singing the song tonight. It's been a big night for the grand old flag as White goes up and gets a tap. This time, with a bit more purpose, Johnson slams it onto the boot. Sits for Miller. Picks it up. Fends off an opponent around the body. The kick had a little bit too much on it. Coughlin has tried hard all night without being a dominant player. Tivendale finesses the ball nicely to Big Stafford. Stafford on defensive 49, kicks to the wing position. Galloway's tried hard all night. To Roden, who's been very quiet. Has a bounce. Kicks inside 50. It was a beautiful kick to Richardson.
Oh, look at some money.
Brown, flying shot at the goal. He's kicked 2, he's kicked 3.
Can play.
The Tigers' first goal of the last 7 in this match. It tells the story. Up goes White, brilliantly down to McDonald, who somehow got it out of there. Over the ball is Johnson. Hand passes one. In fact, it was Reid who tunnel-balled it back. Down goes Brown, picked up by Campbell, hurriedly onto the boot inside the 50. Richardson let it bounce. Bizzle charges in. Wonderful poise in a tight situation. Uze dragged off it. Wheatley has been very good. Back to Uze with the right boot. Desperation shown there by Newman. It ricochets out of bounds.
And don't forget, next Thursday, special night, Thursday night football at the Gabba. The last two grand finalists, the Brisbane Lions, the premiership team for the last 3 years, up against Collingwood. Special time, 7:30. Check your local guides. Next Thursday, it's the Lions and the Magpies from the Gabba.
Morrison, 60 metres out, barely 10 metres inside the 50. Newman surrounded. Tivendale picks up the footy, going nowhere as we go down to the dock.
Yeah, Dennis, more bad news for Richmond tonight. Aaron Fiora came off about 3 minutes ago, hobbling very badly with the right knee. Got heavy ice packed on at the moment. They've had a good look at it, but he's finished tonight.
White over the top, but straight down to Cracker, who runs it and kicks the goal.
That's brilliant.
His second.
So Cracker kicks the goal and comes to the bench. 64 points the margin now. Melbourne in front. 13 minutes left in this game. What a night it's been for the Melbourne Football Club. Gary, being a former captain, forget being a special commentator for a moment, a former captain, seeing the unification, seeing the club trying to take steps forward. It must be a great night for your club.
I think it's really important, but what's more important is the way they've played. You can have wins, Eddie, and you think, oh, maybe it was a fluke, but this has been a real solid victory. Well,
Bizzle
ahead of ourselves.
knocks it down. Godfrey to Brown, slung as he kicked. Miller liked his game. Through the centre, kicks inside the 50. Favoured by the kick, Gaspar juggled, attempted the mark, didn't complete it. Chaffee comes away with it though. Around the corner, finds Newman. Is it left half back? 127 plays 63. Newman spots Campbell. He can take it and go. Campbell thought about it. Sends it back towards the middle. Chaffee has run on. 80 metres from goal. Sets it up for Brown. Closing quickly. Uze knocked it away. Bizzle again. How often have we seen that? That was a clever kick. He slipped over. Had to get early elevation. There was a man 5 metres from him and still got the kick into Brown. Brown at centre half back. The short one to Thompson. Runners alongside. Thompson's away. Man on well inside the 50. Unchecked he goes to Vardy. 53 metres out Vardy. Takes on the second gamer, goes short to Reid, who waited. Campbell didn't, got in there, knocked it away, found it on the ground, gets a hand pass across to support. They'll bring it out. Oh, Chaffee kicked into the oncoming player, McDonald. Down goes Zantuck, looking for a free, nothing doing. Johnston emerges with the football, lines up. This is very tight. I think it's okay. No, it's not. Behind.
Forward line pressure again down there from hard-working forwards that haven't given up, and that's why they've had 33 scoring shots to 13. That is a fair spanking.
And with a touch of brain fade by the Richmond backman
well,
too.
that helped, didn't it?
65 points. Tivendale, a beautiful kick out. Hardigan runs, kicks, turnover. And strong mark by Rivers. Having said that, there was no other options on. Richardson was the only person leading. White, long kick forward. Neitz has kicked 8. Can he get another one? Out he comes. The fall of the ball. Dives in on top of it. Umpire will bounce.
It's been a bogey side for Melbourne over the past few years. They've won the last 5 against the Demons. So that's they'll be well pleased to shake that one.
8 goals won to David Neitz tonight. Campbell's tried hard. He and McDonald have had their own private war. Roden thrown to the ground. Bowden. Neville's inside. Fleming's kick just slammed it onto the boot and is back again. Rivers. He can sit there all day.
Oh, inside 50 again.
Thompson had a number of options. There's still a big option on for Vardy if he turns around. He's got Green all on his own inside 50. Neitz now leads. In the end, there was not much on for Vardy, so he holds the ball.
Disposals inside 50, Eddie. 60 to Melbourne, 26 to Richmond. That is a staggering discrepancy.
Vardy's going to thump it long. He gets onto a big one. Up towards the goal square. Into the forward pocket it goes. Mark from behind to Neitz. No, it'll be paid to Stafford, the man in front. So just over 10 minutes left in this game. It's been a season turnaround game for both Melbourne and Richmond. Richmond were flying. Suddenly they have crash landed. And the Demons, they were the story of the week. They're the team under pressure, and they have lifted. Funny game of football, Dennis.
Absolutely, Ed. When you lose to a team in crisis, you're immediately in crisis. You inherit the mantle. Here's Uzai. Clever on the wing. Down towards half forward. Neitz.
Not without a show from this range either, Dennis.
Now, the last Melbourne player to kick 9 against the Tigers, Fred Fanning, back in 1947. Well, he's not going for goal. He sends it to 2-on-1, and the one stood up pretty well, Newman.
Great mark, isn't it?
That was terrific.
A good vertical leap, Chris Newman.
To Bowden, closing McDonald, missed it. Bowden comes away then. This is Johnson on the wing, unchecked, in 2 minds. Kicks towards the 50. Kellaway meters in the clear. Goes to Cracker, who stops. Back to Kellaway. Their confidence just ebbing out of these bodies at the moment. Tivendale to Morrison. Goes back. Let's start again.
That's a retreat.
Yes. Bowden to Stafford.
Out of Richard.
Cross the ground to Hyde. 60 metres out. Hyde decides to head for home. It's a long kick. It's a telling kick. It's a beauty. Lovely effort. His first goal in footy.
Well, the consolation prize of the night is that the Tigers have kicked the last 3 to reduce the deficit to 59 points. That's the upside on some sort of stats as a free kick goes the way of the Tigers there to Johnson. Boys, only 2 players at Melbourne have had less than 10 possessions, Nicholson and Jolly. Cracker. Richardson takes the strong mark.
Good umpiring.
You achieved nothing, mate. Richard.
Let's have a listen to the umpire here.
When he takes the mark.
There's kick 2 behind Richo.
A bit high after he took the mark. Yeah, okay.
Now, what I was saying is 20 players at Melbourne have had 10 disposals or more. Richmond have had just 13. And the 2 Melbourne players, Evan Richardson and Jolly, Nicholson and Jolly, they've had jobs to do.
Take his best kick, this one.
Richo comes in. And you just knew.
Hang on, go back to him. There's a bit of mouthing off going on here.
Richo 3 behinds tonight. The margin 59 points.
Big Al Nicholson.
Well, he's entitled to be wrapped. He has been put through the ringer during the week.
I tell you what, were there some radio talkback callers and probably commentators who were suggesting he was a relic and a dinosaur and had no place in AFL footy. A week, as you have said rightly, is a long time.
Uzai floats one to Rivers. And the pun, Rivers, the defensive 50. Nicholson. Bizzle. Towards half forward. Robertson there with Gaspar. Almost stole it away. Arriving quickly and knocking it forward is Newman. Runs onto it now. Dragged down as he kicks out towards the boundary. Johnstone tracks it towards the line. And it goes across.
Yeah, a shattering blow for the Tigers, isn't it, on the back of what was such a huge result. Now they kicked, that's Melbourne's highest score last year, so there's an opportunity to knock that off in the next 7.5 minutes.
But if I can just ask you, Gary, quickly, there's 22 possessions to Bowden, 31 to Kane Johnson, 23 to Wayne Campbell. Have any of them played well?
No, well, that's what I said. This is less about possessions tonight than most games I've seen. I reckon they've been conceded possession. A lot of the ball in the middle of the ground. They've had blokes peel back in the hole in front of the likes of Richardson and Brown, and their defence has been, their attack has been rebounding from defence.
Saw Neil Danaher there. He must be well satisfied. Big night for him on and off the field. Hyde to Cracker. Cracker's tried very hard. Green just pops it inside the 50. How will it bounce? Davey, a half chance. Crashing through Robertson. Jams it on the boot. Floats it down towards full forward. Clever. Zantuck, the weaker man in that contest, but great leverage. Took the mark. Not a good kick, though. Wheatley, who's been fine, up very high. Couldn't hang on. Coughlin, by his standards, a quiet night. Davey, though, impetuous. Into his back. Tivendale, the short one outside the 50. Chaffee goes off his stride. Fleming around the outer side. Kicks inside the 50. Brown coming to it. Kept his eye on the footy. Well played a couple of times there. Roden feeds it out to a left footer. He should kick this, Newman. And he does. The right man in the right spot.
Well, the final term opened up with 3 consecutive goals to Melbourne to get out to a 76-point lead. Now Richmond have kicked the last 4, the margin back to 52. In fact, they've won the quarter by 5 points. Still got 6.5 minutes left to play, though. Crashing through is Thompson. He's held up, and we'll have another bounce.
Eddie, this is a telling statistic too. 23 Shepherds to Melbourne, 9 to Richmond, and 7 Smothers to 3. Now, they are just little 1%ers. They're not big stats like those numbers there. They don't show up on your statistics, but they are very significant.
Stafford gets the tap. Godfrey again in for the hard ball. We'll have a ball up at the true centre half-forward position for the Melbourne side. Big Jolly up against Stafford. Have a look at the pack of players around there. Plenty of pushing and shoving going on. The umpire's bounce opens it up a little bit. Jolly knocks it forward. Hardigan got the kick out. And we'll come back here. Johnson has just had a bad day. Just doesn't seem to be able to bend over far enough today, Travis Johnson. Looks like he's got a bit of a back injury.
He had one.
Thompson puts it high in the air. Robertson comes out. He almost took another screamer. There's always a chance. He'll never die wondering, Russell Robertson. Good play by Campbell. He has played pretty well tonight. He's fought back and certainly been a good leader. There's no doubt about that. Phil Reid over the top for the Melbourne side. Wheatley, who's been great, back to Reid. Sliding handball out to Johnson. Some theatrics. Oh, some more theatrics. And Godfrey's been cleaned up by Robertson and is hurt. Bizzle. Long kick with plenty of hang time. Darren Bennett's watching tonight. He'd like that one. And a free kick has been plucked out. It's going to go the way of Melbourne.
Number 9 coming up. Let's have a tune in, see what it's for.
Simon Godfrey here.
If we see him, we pay him. I mean, obviously they're not there.
Simon Godfrey stayed down a little bit, probably 5 seconds. You know he's hurt if he stays down that long.
He's got up to his feet now. So David Neitz for 9 goals on the night. Has kicked 8 goals, 1. Has kicked 9 goals, 1. Number 9. Number 9.
You often get that, Gary, when you've got an undersized full back. Well, Zandak isn't exactly undersized, but against Neitz he is, because of the monstrous difference. You often get holding infringements against the smaller full-back because you just get drawn into it. You can't compete with them when you stand up with the ball to the ball at its highest point.
Very surprised Andrew Callaway hasn't been given a job on Neitz.
Yeah, for a little while.
So on unification night, David Neitz puts his name in the record books alongside one of the greats, Fred Fanning, the last player to boot 9 against the Tigers. And 47, if you don't mind, out of the middle, Bowden towards the 50. Spills off the pack. Richardson comes up full-chested. Decided to try and take a player out, or perhaps more than one. Still, Richmond Labour, Coughlin, Bizzle, who was the player that Richmond ran at and Richardson put down, but he was in there applying a tackle. Bowden, about 75 metres from goal, kicks towards the middle. Tailor-made for Melbourne in defence, and Green comes back, takes the mark. Breaking to the outer side, Uze. He's a left half back. He can settle. Under 4 minutes till full time. They've showed their steel as individuals and as a club tonight, Melbourne. Well, goes back to Wheatley.
David Neitz' best ever haul, by the way, Dennis, is 9 goals 2. He's kicked 9 goals 1 tonight. That was against Carlton, round 15, 2002.
Just under 3.5 minutes. I don't reckon Neitz is finished yet.
Takes him off and give him a spell, do.
Wheatley for distance towards the outer side. Jolly was up. Mistimed it completely. Some premature elevation, and Stafford takes the mark. Forward of the wing. Kicks back inside the 50. Ottens was there, so too Uze. Richo comes off the cross buckle and was taken high, apparently. Self-preservation, I think, from Uze. Down goes Uze. Parting shot from Richo. Play on comes the call. He gives it to Brown, always lurking close to Richardson. Johnston had to stand his ground and did. Godfrey, down goes Reid. Well played, Nicholson. Robertson, untidy kick. Kellaway took his eye off the football. Arriving quickly there was Coughlin. Sliding in was McDonald. Down goes Coughlin. Comes to Kellaway. Digs it out of there. Chaffee tried to push the ball through. Nothing doing. Robertson in a tight corner. Got it to Reid. Kicks it up towards the wing. Davey favoured by the bounce. Breaks away. Neitz is in the square. Davey a second bounce. Runs to 50. Looping hand pass over the top. Holland turns around and kicks it behind.
He should have led Neitz to Holland.
Or maybe Davey.
I think he just thought he was going to run the 400 in under 10.
He's just, I've never seen a bloke's head stiller in full sprint.
Right.
His head is just on a plane.
Ben Holland 1-4 for the night. Johnson has had plenty of it, over 30 possessions again tonight for Kane Johnson. Out to Gasper. So this game now starting to peter out inside the last 2 minutes of the match. Really, it's a matter of whether or not Neitz can get another score to equal his best ever. Gasper again with 1:40 left on the clock from now. Good mark taken by Miller, who, as Dennis said earlier, has been very, very good tonight.
Improving player, isn't he? I think the coach said, I want a Gary Lyon type, so they went out and got a look-alike.
Well, if he can play like him, he's in for a good year.
He's not there yet.
He's had 11 touches tonight as the clock is a-ticking.
Well, they've got to get to Neitz and get him one more opportunity to get into double figures.
Miller kicks. Bit of a tide kick that one as well. Robertson's grabbed high, surely. No, says the umpire, so we'll have a bounce. And the clock keeps on ticking.
Distance covered. Bruce spent a bit of time on the interchange bench, and Johnson got a corky early, but that's still not a bad output, 13 kilometres.
Okay, this is it for 10. Get the ball forward, Melbourne. Jolly with the right idea. Reid has been good in close. Battles on again, and the ball spills out of bounds. Was it on the full?
Who is the chance?
There we go.
Oh, it's going to be a big grab too if he can get it. The pack's forming around him.
We're going deep, boys.
Get back to the square, Nita. Oh, they're going to him. They're peeling off to Neitz.
Oh,
Reid.
Get it going, Phil Reid. There's 45 seconds left.
60 metres out. Neitz, as you can see, taller than Zantuck, but there's the problem. Stafford just hanging off the pack. Well, Reid, with no sense of occasion, goes short. Godfrey, was it? No, Robertson does a bit of legging down there on Gaspar, so it'll be a tiger free, and we're down to 39 seconds. Well, Reid is new to the club and doesn't know about club records, but surely 10 anywhere is good. Gaspar set the standards high at the West Coast Eagles. Zantuck to Bowden in the back pocket, and he's going to run out the clock. Goes short.
Oh, have a shot.
Go tall.
He's cramped up.
50 metres.
Got to kick a torp for the occasion, surely. If ever you can Leroy's a bit Dermot, it'd be now with 9 on the board.
80 metres out.
It's an open goal square.
The siren's going to go. He's just he has a second.
He'll have to kick this 80 metres.
Oh,
no.
And that was a former skipper booing. Godfrey to Brown, there's the siren.
He can cheer now, Gary.
Not much to boo about.
Fantastic. Wonderful victory, Melbourne. 2015, 135 over the Tigers, who were big winners last Friday night on Friday Night Football. 12-4-76. 35 scoring shots to 16. And that was nice. Cracker enjoying Davey's success. And there's a man who knew all about success tonight. David Neitz with 9 goals. Goes into the record books for games against the Tigers. Richardson comes a fair way up the ground to shake his hand. By contrast, he was a full forward starved of opportunities. And there's Bizzle. Just a terrific game. Directed things from half back as we go down to Tony Jones and the man who got 9 on 9.
Yes, he certainly was. 9-goal effort tonight. Geez, the boys in the box were willing you on to go for the big talk there and make it 10.
Yeah, look, thought went through my mind, but look, it was just a fantastic effort by the boys to get back after a hard week, and you know, fantastic to see all the true Melbourne people out here on the ground before the game. It was a special occasion for the club, and hopefully we can go on and do bigger and better things from here.
Geez, I mean, you look around the ground tonight, you really didn't have a bloke down all night, did you?
Look, that's the sort of effort that we need. Everyone chipping in, doing their little bit, and that's when we play our best. So congratulations to the boys tonight. They are up against it and passed with flying colours tonight.
How are you travelling? You cramped up there towards the end. Your back all right?
Yeah, no, the back's fine. Just cramped up a little bit, but that's, everything's fine.
Young Aaron Davey is a revelation, isn't he?
There's a little excitement soon. He's just magnificent. So he's just sneaking a couple of goals and just creates a bit of buzz. He's fantastic for our fans.
Well, I've got a sneaking suspicion there's going to be a bit of a buzz in the rooms too, so why don't you head down there?
Absolutely. Thanks, Tony.
Good on you, mate.
David Neitz, what a night. 9 goals, 1 for the skipper. He had 14 disposals, took 10 marks. Just was absolutely sensational. A dominant player on the ground. The Melbourne fans are pretty happy. Paul Gardner, well done. He was here tonight, the president, for his first home match, and they have turned it on in emphatic style. They won every quarter. They opened up with a 24-point lead, led by 45 at the half, 57 at three-quarter time, and finally it was a win by 59 points. 20 goals, 15, 135 to 12, 476. What about last week, Dennis? Richmond, this time last week, were singing the song that defeated Collingwood by 40 points. And six days ago, Melbourne had lost to Hawthorn by 49 points. Let's go down to Tony. He's got a couple of live wires. Two of the beauties tonight.
Oh, boy, how good were these two guys, Aaron Davey and Clint Bizzle. Clint, first of all, you were doubtful for the match because of your ribs. You got through all right?
Yeah, got through fine, so I'll rest up during the week. It should be all right.
Geez, what a buzz and a half out here, though. The supporters have come along. You sure it's only March and not September?
No, that's right, but it's great for our unification night for all the supporters to get out and all the greats of the club to come back and watch us play and have a win.
Well, what about you, Aaron? You seem to be having a bit of fun out here, aren't you?
Enjoying it at the moment. It was a good win. It was good after we've been put down all week. It was a good comeback and a good win for Percy. Really enjoyed it.
Well, what about you? You've had two senior games. You've experienced the lowest of lows and the highest of highs. Which one would you take, mate?
I'll take the high.
All right, we'll see you in the rooms, fellas. Good on you, Clint. Good on you, Aaron.
Good on you, Aaron. And isn't it wonderful, Aaron Davey paying tribute to Percy Beam. So we did it for Percy tonight, one of the stalwarts of the club. Robbo still taking screamers even in the race, but for young Aaron Davey to actually understand that sense of history at this most historical club, the oldest football club in Australia, one of the oldest in the world, and tonight the great champions of the 40s and the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s all there together. And well, here you see, look at Neil Danaher. He is absolutely excited, happy, pumped up, whatever you want to use to describe it.
I think vindicated too.
And vindicated is a good term, Dennis. Here's the song. Well, there you go. David Neitz. What a night.
Goalless last week, 4 kicks.
Unbelievable. Melbourne had just 3 more disposals on the night, but 27 more inside 50s than Richmond. But it's been a night for David Neitz, as you said, Dennis. He kicked 9 on 9, wearing number 9. I think that was a song the Beatles had at one stage, wasn't it? So why not? Let's go to the break on 9 and have a look at what has been a huge night in the career for this man, the Melbourne captain, David Neitz.
I'm David Neitz. This is my Friday night.
In front of
glance at the scoreboard, it looks pretty good for him.
McDonald meets inside the 30. 20-15, 135 over the Tigers, who were big winners last break.
Richmond, this time last week, were singing the song that defeated Collingwood by 40 points. And six days ago, Melbourne had lost the Hawthorn by 49 points. Let's go down.
We are far down, it's been a
Week's a long time in football. Last week he was captain fantastic. Today he has got a broken nose and his team has been belted to the tune of 59 points. Wayne Campbell, 7 days in footy.
What a night for Melbourne, eh? Led at every change, got the fast start, 24 points at quarter time, 45 at the half. Finally, winners by 59 points, and a big night for their skipper, David Neitz. He booted 9. Green, very good as well with 3. Nathan Brown battled hard with 3, but generally Melbourne on top throughout in this one. Full credit to them. This week they were challenged as a club, and gee, they responded tonight.
Yes, well, it was devastation there, Dennis, for the Richmond Football Club. For Melbourne, well, it's the opposite. Gary Lyon, unable to go down for the unification march today because of his commitments on the Nine Network. He's down amongst familiar territory now with the coach, Neil Danaher.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy I won the toss too to be in these rooms, Ed. I don't think you want to be anywhere else. I'm with the coach, Neil Danaher, mate, and that is just about as good a night as you could have.
Yeah, look, you know, we were asking our supporters to come out, and we knew that we had to do something on the field after last week. And all you people sitting there in the sofa that barrack for Melbourne, come out and support the team.
It's a pretty good message. I think they'd be pretty excited with what they saw tonight too. The commitment of the group as a whole, a lot of impressive individual performances, but the whole 22.
Across the board, and that's what we did over the Wizard Cup. I thought, you know, we were very good over the Wizard Cup, and then we come in last week with a pretty ordinary effort, but we're back to our winning ways tonight. And look, I was critical of our leaders last week. We need them to stand up, and David Neitz, what a super captain he is. You know, Alan Nicholson down the other end kept Richo goalless. Clint Bizzle was terrific, and Jeff White, I thought, played a marvellous game.
He had no passengers, that's for sure. Just sitting up in the stands before the game to see the 40-odd ex-players come together, I know it was something that you drove pretty passionately. It was a great look, I have to tell you. Did it have an impact?
Yeah, I think it did, and we need, you know, this is not a one-off event. I know they were out there, but we need to unite as a club, and it's a process, it's a journey. We've been poor at it, and hopefully tonight can just kick-start. It's like a gun going off in a race, and it might be a marathon to get our club united and strong again, but we've got to start from somewhere, and tonight was a good start.
You're absolutely right, mate. I think you would let you go and enjoy it. The big skipper over there, 9. What about the 10? We all wanted him to have a ping.
Yeah, he should have. The last one, I was very critical, 80 metres out. Should have gone the torpy, mate. Should have gone the torpy.
Good on you, mate. Enjoy the win, and well done.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ed.
Good stuff, boys. Enjoying it down there, as they should too. Neil Danaher with Gary Lyon, and I think Gary's certainly enjoying himself down there tonight.
Well, so he should. I mean, it was a big night for the Melbourne Football Club, but they've got to go on, as Neil said now. They've got the Bulldogs next Saturday. It can't be a one-off event, because we saw tonight you cannot, in this competition, afford to bring your B game. You bring your B game at your peril. Richmond brought it tonight. They thought it would take care of itself, and it won't.
Well, the big thing for Melbourne fans tonight, last week, of course, David Neitz very sore with that back injury. Tonight, with a bit more flexibility and movement, we saw the results, 9 goals. But his foil up forward, Ben Holland, was, I thought, particularly early in the game, really had the Richmond defence stretched. Tony Jones has caught up with Ben Holland down in the rooms.
Well, just a real sense of satisfaction, I suppose. Up against the old team?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we had a tough week last week and didn't play to our ability in that. We wanted to come out tonight and really give it to Richmond, and the boys, to their credit, came out and really tough and firing.
Now, I don't want to dwell on it too much, but last week, just having a quick think back to your stats, 1 kick for the game, I think you had, so you've made amends, haven't you?
Yeah, I was just finding my way last week and struggled to find out where to run and things like that, but this week felt a little bit more comfortable, and I suppose as the season goes on, I'll get more and more comfortable and finding out how players play.
Well, what about in the rooms beforehand? I mean, did you really get to appreciate the history of the Melbourne Footy Club? I guess it really ran at home, didn't it?
Yeah, it was really significant. All the past players came down, and we walked out in the ground with them, and it's just fantastic just seeing them around. I mean, great players, Robertson and people like that. So to have them here, we really needed to lift, and I think the boys did that.
Good on you, Ben.
Thanks, Tony.
So the Demons win it by 59 points, Ed. What about injuries tonight? Let's go down and check with Doc. Pete?
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. Look, the main concern will be Aaron Fiora across in the Richmond rooms. He's done a medial ligament of his right knee, came off in the last quarter and have it heavily iced up, sat out on the bench. They're saying grade 1 to 2, which is sort of a medium level. That can be a 2 to 4 week injury, so pretty disappointed, I think, over at Richmond from that point of view, along with the loss tonight. Here in the Melbourne rooms, Matthew Whelan, we talked about his shoulder injury. He's just really got a cork shoulder, that's just bruising, got a hit over the biceps muscle. They'll ice that up. Wouldn't expect Matthew Whelan to be in any danger of not being able to play next week, so that's good news for Melbourne. And Wayne Campbell's the only other one we mentioned during the night. We saw that he came off under the blood rule, certainly had the swelling on the nose. He's on the footy show on Sunday, so we'll have to see how he comes up, but really just a small laceration there and obviously played on the night. So the main concern, Aaron Fiora with a medial ligament.
Good on you, Pete, and Wayne Campbell feeling pretty sick and sorry down there after the game tonight. A 59-point victory to the Melbourne Football Club over the Tigers. Of course, international sport happening right around the country at the moment, particularly up in Sydney with the Telstra trials for the Olympic swimming. Huge ratings during the week, huge results, plenty of controversy, you name it. Tonight was night 7 at the Telstra Olympic trials. Let's cross up to our man on the spot, Ken Sutcliffe from Nine's Widewater Sports. That's right. You get your chance for the 3 hours, as Dennis mentioned. Let's go down to Gary. It's all happening down there in Demonland at the moment. Gary, have we sent any of the old boys down there yet?
Oh, there's been plenty of familiar faces around here. Look, it's a good feeling down here. It's certainly not getting carried away. It's not over the top. You can just see that there's a lot of proud faces from years gone by, and they're really enjoying, I think, being back in the fold. There'll be a few people standing alongside each other that perhaps haven't been alongside each other for a while. So that's a good thing. But I think they may very well have learnt the lesson from this Richmond side, the sobering reality that 7 days is such a long time. So the players are certainly just going through the process now. As I said, the supporters are enjoying it, but just a lot to like about the way that Melbourne went about it tonight. And it is a good buzz and a good feel, but certainly not over the top. And I think they know it's a very long year ahead. And 7 days, as we found out tonight, is a long, long time in footy. I know it's a cliche, but it's never been proved more true tonight.
Good on you, Gary. As you said, this is round 2 of a 22-round season before we have a month of finals, before one team gets their hand on that beautiful
marathon,
silver, elusive, hard cup to get your hands on, Dennis, let me tell you.
And we saw Clint Bizzle there too. He's an emerging superstar.
He's great.
I think he's a terrific footballer.
Yeah, has come of age, no doubt about it. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the news from the umpires' room is there's no reports, but we think umpire Ian Robertson, former umpire Ian Robertson, these days the video man, we'll have a look at something that we'll show you right after the break. The highest of fives, there's no doubt about it, Dennis. There is no greater feeling than coming off the MCG with a win under your belt. It's fantastic.
After a week like that.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And a 59-point thumping it was tonight to Melbourne, defeating Richmond on Friday Night Football.
And speaking of a thumping, we need to take a look at what happened sort of in the second quarter, as I think back.
Yes,
second
that's right.
quarter.
Second quarter, and the word from the rooms, no reports as such at the moment, but this is what Ian Robertson will be looking at.
That's right. Wayne Campbell is underneath there, Travis Johnstone on top, which hardly explains where James McDonald fits in, because McDonald and Campbell went at it shortly after this. Maybe Campbell couldn't see. Well, that's right.
And before, I think what was happening is, I think from memory, Johnson came in to remonstrate with Campbell after he'd had an altercation with McDonald. So they'd had their own little private war. But the big question is, what happened to Campbell? We'll have to find out from Pete Larkins at a later date. Some thought that he might have had a broken nose. Certainly he had to leave the field with blood, as Pete said,
profusely,
bleeding outside and inside the nose. So that's something for Ian Robertson to have a look at. That's what he does these days. So, all right, mate, let's have a look at the votes. Gary Lyons given them for the magnificent Toyota. Lou Richards medal, the player of the year.
And the number 9 features prominently. David Neitz, number 9 for Melbourne. Their skipper, 9 goals. He gets 9 votes. Nicholson, terrific at full back against Richardson with 8. Richardson, a match winner last week along with Brown. He was really stifled tonight. Clint Bizzle, wonderful across half-back, gets 8. Nathan Brown, that's Melbourne's Nathan Brown. Perhaps we didn't anticipate that coming in. He picks up 7 in the Lou Richards medal.
No, Nicholson and N. Brown of Melbourne weren't the two we were thinking of at the start of the night. There's no doubt about it. Richo was in everyone's mind. The Toyota Player of the Year gets this beautiful SS Camry Sportiva worth over $40,000. It's got all the features you could imagine, including the V6 engine, the Aerosports body kit, the 16-inch alloy wheels for optimum handling, as well as sports tune suspension and sports front seats. Tune into the Sunday Footy Show every week, and we'll keep you up to date with all the latest votes. That's only one game in round 2. There's plenty more big games coming up then.
You've got a big one tomorrow. Collingwood with Rocker back. Can they beat the Western Bulldogs, who were unlucky last week?